So, welcome back, everybody. Does that sound clear? Mic check,
Good.
1, 2. That's kind of like my thing. Mic check, 1, 2. I always mic check it before we come in. Welcome back, everybody. Zach Gearman here with the Gearman Project Podcast. Our guest today is none other than Block A, aka Blake Hendricks, in the house. He is one of my best friends, college roommate, groomsman, just good man. So we're gonna kind of dig into a few different things today. We're gonna talk about gaming a little bit because we're both gamers in that sense. We're also going to be touching on obviously the COVID situation and kind of what's going on. We might even touch on the fact that the government just dropped alien footage on CNN and no one's fucking talking about it. So that's kind of crazy. So we're gonna get into all this kind of stuff today. Blake, I'll just kind of give you the floor and kind of you can tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Damn. Well, yeah, thank you for that introduction. Yeah, gotta say, I've known Zach for, it's been about 6 years now.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been quite the ride we had together, and yeah, a little nervous still because this is surreal.
I know.
I was listening to your first podcast. I'm like, damn, like he's out here. He, like, you could tell, like, once it's out there, you're just like, oh.
I know.
So,
yeah. The first 10 minutes, it kind of takes a little time to warm up, and so that's the thing is that, like, when we did our first one, like, I was like, for the first 10-15 minutes, I was like, but it is, for me, it's just kind of the excitement of just like, hey, we're doing this, because remember just, like, back in Highland and J9, we used to talk about, like, hey, we're gonna get a podcast going one day, and we're gonna make this happen, and I was like, 6-7 years later, it's like we're finally making it happen. And it's so crazy that, like, this whole thing that's going on with Corona thing is like kind of what was like the catalyst to, like, make it be possible. So
yeah. So yeah, just a little bit about myself. Roommates with Zach for 2.5, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
So I got out of the military in 2014. I was in the Marines, and then I just met this motherfucker just straight off of Craigslist because I was coming down here to live here, and then the people who I was going to have, they fell through. They're like, yeah, we can't have you here. So then I was just scrambling for, like, I don't know, maybe like a week or two on end, and then all of a sudden I just came back from the gym one day, and then I just saw, like, perfect ad, 2 people need a roommate for this place called Briargate, which I was like, hell yeah, because I was kind of looking into it. And yeah, so and behold, it called him. I actually got Zach over the phone because it was like, And so with everything, I met him probably later that day down in Mankato, and it was just lock, set, stone from there. I went to MSU, Mankato State, or Minnesota State University, Mankato.
Horns up.
Yeah. For law enforcement at first, and then I totally bombed out of my whole first year. Like, it's still catching up to me to this day. So, and every time I go back to college, it's like, oh, you still have like 4 failures on your record. And I was just like, being stubborn. I was like, damn, I don't need to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to, but I'm sick and tired of going to, like, the administration building and be like, hey, do you understand that you need a 3.5 GPA to stay in our school? I'm like, what? I'm a C average student. Like, I can't get that. You're expecting me to get all A's. That's, not the brightest bulb, but, not the dumbest one either. So
right.
Me getting A's is like me doing backflips. It's just not happening.
Mm-hmm. I feel it.
Yeah. So I've just been kind of doing a little job searching every now and again. With all the whole Corona thing, been dabbing in and out of school, got my associate's degree, so it's something. And then this past year, I've been out of school for a year now. Holy shit. I was doing EMT course. So I have that under my belt, but as of right now, I don't know if I even want to go out there.
For $13 an hour to go catch the Rona to save a life, I don't know. That's kind of asking a lot,
it is,
to be honest.
But and so I don't know, been at my full-time job for a year, got into a crash, not really a crash. I hit a tree. A tip of my truck hit the tree nonetheless, but it is what it is. So I got transferred. And to be honest, this is kind of an ideal job for going back to school, because I just work in a warehouse, and some days I'm just totally busy and some days I got nothing to do. So it's kind of good.
I feel it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a spin up.
Yeah.
I'll have more. Well, eventually we'll have more time to discuss. I'm actually a pretty fun. I guess I would say I'm a fun dude to hang out with, but during the circumstances of our times, I really can't get out there right now.
Right. I hear you. You know, and that's the thing too, is that, I just kind of circling back to your, back to your school thing. You were saying how, it's like for me, it's like, the whole idea of like, oh, you need to have this GPA to be in this
Yeah.
school, and you need to do this, you need to do that. It's like the thing that, I went and I got my associates, I got my bachelor's, and I got my master's. Again, not trying to flex or anything, but I went through all of that, and it was the same type of shit. You need to be this good, you need this and that. I knew I was smarter than most of the people that I like went to school with, like in a sense
Yeah.
of just like understanding things and kind of being aware. For me, school was like, it was more about the experience. So basically I feel like I got the knowledge, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I got the knowledge, but I feel like, this whole thing, like we were brought up like, hey, you got to go to school, and you got to get a degree, and you get a good job, and this and that. They don't tell you there's like fine print to it. It's like, it isn't, no, you're not going to, just because you got a piece of paper doesn't mean you're going to get a job.
Yeah.
I got a master's degree right now and I'm unemployed. Like I said, I got my bachelor's in exercise science. I got a sport management master's degree, and there's nothing going on right now. There's granted, those positions or those fields are very competitive, and it's kind of one of those things, but unless you're going to be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, or something that's like, there's high demand, like we need those things, you're not guaranteed shit. That's why trade school has been more the thing.
Oh yeah, it's
but
booming.
I was also faced with the thing of like, okay, do I want to run track? Because being a college athlete, some of my bearded dragons freaking out, and so it's like I couldn't do that by going to trade school. So it's like the whole system was kind of weird, like I said. So it's like I have a lot of people that I know that are like, hey, yeah, I went to school and I graduated, but I'm working a job that I could have got just fucking out of high school. And it's just like there's so many people, like especially our age, like I said, mid to late 20s, early 30s, where it's like, we were sold this dream that was just not a thing. I mean, they weren't honest with us. There's a lot of people that joke about, oh, well, you can't go get, a dance theory major and expect to make, millions. It's like, yeah, I get that. But like, don't say like, hey, you're going to be able to go to school and you're going to be able to, chase your dream and get your dream job and then, live this life and be whatever. Cause that's not how it is, and that's the lie that we were told. And it's just, look at us now. Look at all these people that have all this debt. With my master's was like $60K. I went in debt for this for a 2-year master's program. Otherwise I would have had, and now with interest over the last probably 3, 4, 5 years, it's like basically like I'm close to 100K in debt, with my student loans. And so it's like, that's something now that I'm going to have to carry with me. And I'm one of like millions of people now that have that. It's crazy.
I mean, from all the medical stuff I had to deal with in the past, like I don't have school debt. Like that GI Bill is real, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I would have done it more, because when I got out of active duty, I didn't have any I wouldn't say aspiration, but I had no direction.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was just like, boom, I just want to go in right away. Cause like, which I'm glad it happened, because all the stuff that I'm in now wouldn't have happened if I didn't do that. But for people who are listening out there, if you're stuck in my shoes, or if you're planning on going to school in a community college for the first till you get your associate's degree. Do not jump into a university right away, because it's cheaper and it's more efficient, and boom, you'll get out of there with something. Or trade school too, because going back to you, when you said trade school is a thing, like that was what they said even in my last days of being in the reserves. They're just like, yeah, go to trade school, do something, because you don't want to be stuck, unemployed, which kind of sucks right now for people. And was it you that we were talking like a long time ago, that it's like 1 in 14 people in their program that they studied for actually get into it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so your odds aren't even good. So like what I originally wanted to go into was the sports management program, but I needed like because it was such a competitive degree. So when I transferred, I got my associates. They're like, hey, get your associates and you'll be able to just transfer in, get into whatever, program. I did that. They didn't tell me like, oh, no, you need to take these classes too. And even though you took these classes that are the same thing, it didn't have the exact same thing that we have over here. I'm like, well, what's the difference? So I ended up like retaking classes, cost me more money, more time. And then the whole thing it was longer and longer and longer. And it's just, that whole like, oh, so I was like, okay. And then when I did get all this stuff, they're like, well, your GPA still isn't good enough. Even though I had the minimum GPA, it was like, well, you're not competitive now because you need a 3.2. Okay, well, I got a 3.2. And then it was like, okay, but now the average person applying has a 3.7. So now you need at least a 3.7. Otherwise it doesn't fucking count. And so it's like, okay, so and that's all shit they don't fucking tell you.
Yeah, it is. It's all just a numbers game. And even in the last semester I was at MSU for, I passed all my classes. I got a B and C average, it's good for me. But they literally sat me down. They're like, if you want to keep continuing, you're going to have to get a 3.5 or something. I was like, that's not possible. And with the time being, I probably could have achieved it, but I thought my philosophy teacher was just an idiot. So she failed. Or I wouldn't say she failed my ass, but I got a D-. So that kind of did it. Because it was a very open question. She was like, does God exist or not? And I was just like, well, you can't prove it, but you can't disprove it either. And she didn't like me. She was a 30-year-old cat lady, and they normally don't like me either.
Ooh.
I was 20, 26 going on 27. So I was like, you're only like a few years older than me, yet I can tell I've lived more. Yeah, I lived more life than you, and yet you're just buried yourself in books, and you just think you're like all that in a bag of chips. Come on, lady.
You're like coming at this lady's life here, and my dragon just raced across the floor, knocked over my pop, and now I have a crisis. I'll be right back.
All right. It happens. Let's see. I got the dog right next to me.
Jeez. Okay, Houston, I'm back.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm coming at her a little too hard, but
I didn't. I wouldn't say too hard. I mean, we all have those teachers that are, to your point, we've all had teachers that they think they're smarter than they really are, and they think they're shedding some enlightening shit on you, and really it's just a lot of it. It's like self-righteous propaganda bullshit, and we ain't got time for that.
Yeah, because I get it. It was just like, just the way she worded it just didn't vibe with me. Because like I could tell from off the bat she was probably an atheist, and her whole demeanor in the class was like, God doesn't exist. I'm just like, dude, you're sucking on the philosopher's dicks from like back in the 1700s. Like, come on now, we're all different now.
Right.
We got information. We can, not all of us, but some people can contradict like what they want to believe and what they know and what they can get. People could just, I'm losing my train of thought here, but they can think for themselves is what I'm trying to say.
Right. And that's the thing too, is like, that's the beautiful thing about the world we live in, is that you can have a thought and you can have an opinion. That's totally fine. My only thing is, if you're gonna have an opinion, be able to like kind of, substantiate it, be able to back it up, be able to let, to the point of like, is God real? Well, I guess what is your definition of God? Are you asking is
Oh,
God real in the sense that is there a higher power, or are you asking like God, like the the quote unquote old man in the clouds who's the father of Jesus, the Christian God? I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of gods and deities that have been worshipped over the course of human history. So I guess you know
yeah.
atheism, agnostic, I think is what it is where it's like you don't really know. I think that's what
Yeah.
agnostic is, right? Fact check me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's
Well,
what it is.
because I'm more of an agnostic person. It's fundamentally like I really don't believe, but yet I respect everyone else's decisions on what they want. Because
Hmm.
like because like fundamentally, now don't quote me on this, but fundamentally I'm kind of an agnostic Buddhist, if that even makes any sense. Because I'm just about like the general vibe, and like I kind of like the Buddhist mentality that like it's not over after all this. It's not over. You
Okay,
come back somewhere else and stuff like that too.
I like that. All right, so okay, so to your point of agnostic, okay, so I don't know if this will answer your question if you can be agnostic Buddhist, but a person who believes that nothing is known or can be known of the existence or nature of God or of anything beyond material phenomena, a person who claims neither faith nor disbelief in God. Agnosticism is the view that the existence of God or of the divine, of the supernatural, is unknown and unknowable. So basically saying you're admitting that you don't know what the fuck is going on.
Oh, for real.
That's
Dude,
basically what
the
that's
only
saying.
time I guess the only time I'll know is when, I'm gone.
Right.
But and I guess
Or
that's
you
the time
won't.
I'll know for sure. Yeah.
Or the atheists will be right, and then all the evolutionary people will be like, "Yep, we just circle of life, Hakuna
That's
Matata," and
yeah. I mean, that's the beautiful part though. You'll never know. And like even once you do know, you can't even explain it to anyone else because you're no longer a part.
right.
But
Yeah.
like I look at it like in a kind of in a like a death situation too though. Like and like how someone's soul is. Like their soul is still somewhere on this earth, but they're just no longer apart. Like it's like saying goodbye to like an ex-girlfriend or like a best friend or something. Like you one day you were talking to them, then the next day they're just gone.
Right.
Like I know they're still out there somewhere along all this stuff that's going on, but I can't talk to them anymore,
Right.
which is the sad part.
Right.
And that's just how I view death in general, because it's just like, and that's why I get why people mourn too, because they're just your person that you liked, you loved, is just no longer here.
Mhm.
But in the sense of acceptance in the 5 stages of grieving, I know they're somewhere out there. They probably won't remember me, but I know like their soul's out there.
Mhm. Right. So you believe. All right. So you're basically saying that you believe in reincarnation and that we're all kind of like energy, and that we're all kind of because that's kind of what I believe. I guess I do think that there is something. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, I was raised Christian, Lutheran, so it's pretty laid
Yeah.
back. Um, I do like the principles though that the Christian religion instills in people. All the stories and all like the really OC stories.
Yeah.
That's kind of where they lose a lot of people, but to totally switch gears for a second, kind of like, not really, kind of saying the same thing, but have you ever heard of the Anunnaki?
No.
Okay, so the Anunnaki is like basically, holy fuck, that's a lot to unpack. Okay, so essentially they're like this people that came to Earth and basically like made humans essentially. So okay, so think about it. You've played the Assassin's Creed games, right?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't. They're like the Inu people, or the basically the gods in Assassin's Creed that like
Hmm.
kind of created Adam and Eve, and like that whole thing where they're like
Yep.
hybrid with these like super beings. Same fucking thing, but it's like actually like quote unquote proven in the Sumerian text, which is like basically like these like really old texts, these tablets that were found in Sumeria, and basically it tells like this retelling of the Bible, but like with different names and different things. So basically it shows that like the Bible and everything has been changed, obviously with thousands and thousands of years of
Yeah.
interpretation, different languages, the whole thing. But that's essentially what it's talking about, and that we are essentially the hybridization of essentially lower hominids and these like essentially aliens, for lack of a better phrase. So it's fucking pretty wild. So there's some videos that I'll send you that you got to watch. And then next time, like after you watch it, then we'll reconnect and we'll do another one of these and you can give me your thoughts on it. But that, in a nutshell, that's what it is. So are you looking it up?
Hold on 1 second. Oh, wait.
Oh, by the way, real quick, Sundrop. If you're ever listening, this is a free sponsor right here, Sundrop. Not a big pop drinker, but cherry lemon Sundrop. Can't get this shit anywhere. The only time I ever get it is when I go out to my grandma's in rural Minnesota, and I never see it anywhere. But real Sundrop, yes. Cherry Sundrop, no. So if you guys ever want to sponsor this podcast or my YouTube channel, at the Gearman Project, let me know because I would love one. Free pop's all you got to give me. Because I don't drink that often. Free advertisement mid-show.
There you go. Yeah, I keep getting a call because right now I'm using my girlfriend's laptop and her mom keeps calling. So it just keeps like sliding over, slide back, sliding over. I'm like, oh, all right, well.
Oh,
I
so
can't send
a
text.
Oh, yeah. You can't when you're on this?
No, because like I can't see anything. So when I'm going back and forth, that's what it is.
Yo, check out this fucking my ratchet ass gaming headset that is gonna substitute as my headphones for this whole thing.
Hey, it's all
so
good.
Funny. Some dude on one of our reaction videos on our YouTube channel, which by the way, if you guys are listening, go over there and check it out. Same name, the Gearman Project. We do reaction videos, training tips. We upload the podcast video there, all that. So check all that out. Support us there as well. But some dude on there was basically saying how basically you guys have the potential to be, be really big and, catch on and, have a lot of people because you guys got a lot of personality. Basically just gives a really big compliment. And he basically saying is he commented on our gear. He's like, if you guys I can't even talk, upgrade your equipment and shit and your audio and all this and that, everything will just be that much better. And, it's just funny because I'm looking at this now and I got my mic all flipped up and shit, just so it's out of the way. But you know what, it works. Like I said, we're on a budget, we're in a fucking the apocalypse right now. So
yeah, I mean, oh man, just we'll touch on that a little bit later. But yeah, that's yeah. I wouldn't even know if it's safe it's the apocalypse or not, because it's like, I mean, I get it, we're stuck indoors, but at the same time, it's just like, damn.
Dude, is this a big ruse for the government to see how much they can flex on us and how much they can get away with? Stay inside because we said so, and use fear. The government now knows that fear works. All they got to say, oh, there's some fucking crazy virus. There's this, you go outside, you're going to get XYZ, stay inside.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't, but a lot of people are.
I wouldn't say it's imaginary. It's definitely real. But you look at TV and it's like, oh my God, the world's ending. But you look outside, you're just like, yo, we're just chilling.
It's a beautiful 70-degree day up here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah, it's close to 80 degrees down here. So I think it was 78. Yeah.
That's what's up. But, yeah, dude, it's the love on the YouTube channel has been real. I mean, we're up to almost 200 subscribers now. So that's, a little over a month and a week. So that's pretty good. And considering we haven't put out really shipper content over the last probably, I don't know, probably say 10 days, we haven't really put anything out. Cause Marina's been, busy with stuff. She's been working and she's been trying to, do her own thing and that type of thing. So, but it's really cool. I'll say a few comments, because there's always going to be, you can't have good without bad, so obviously, there's, but honestly, when I see something negative, I'm just like, oh, scroll it. Don't even pay it no mind. And I feel like the world, especially people that are, if you do engage with social media, you need to realize that it's you don't need to engage with every fucking idiot that talks shit to you. That says some dumbass thing. You don't need to imagine your brain has only so much memory or bandwidth, right? So you get 100, say, gigabytes of bandwidth. If you spend 20 of that fucking just arguing with people for 2-3 hours online, going back and forth, insults, this and that, get your blood pressure all up and all that. It's why would you do that? That, put that towards something more constructive. So it's when I see that shit, I'm just whatever. I'm only embracing with people that are trying to give me love and Marina love and trying to support us. We're trying to connect with people. We're trying to do this thing. This isn't oh, we're going to get fucking rich and famous. It's that's not the point. The point is that we want to connect with people. We want to be able to have a platform like this where people can talk. And especially nowadays, where it's people are stuck inside and you're not fucking seeing people face to face. So it's you know what, we still got a lot of shit to say, and I, you know, like I don't necessarily want to be on social media, and so I want to like be able to vocalize it in YouTube and fucking, you know, Podbean, shout out to them, you know, are good, you know, avenues to like, you know, let shit go. And it's like just the love is there, and it's just been really cool. And again, I keep going back to this just because, you know, this, like I said, this episode 2, and it's just crazy because, you know, who knows, maybe a year from now we look back like, do you remember we were doing fucking, you know, the start of the Rona when we were doing this, and like now here we are, and it's just crazy.
I mean, yeah, you just got to make content like going on what you're saying. I get it. People, they want to shut stuff down, but most of it's just because people don't want to do it for themselves, which, you know, I'm guilty for myself because I wouldn't say I'm a big talker, but like, you know, I would like to do it, but I don't know, it's just me being lazy or me not having time on my hands to do it. But it is what it is. That's all I got to say. I have no excuses, but when it comes up, hey, it comes up, and you just got to make content that's like what you want to talk about, and you're going to look back on it and be like, yo, this is what my people were talking about. Because that's the whole point. It's not about making money. It's just like, yo, I just want to put my foot in there and say, hey, I did it. And if I did, and like, at least I'm out here living my dream. That's it. That's all you can ask for.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who just to like, you know, talk down, it's just like, dude, like find a hobby.
Exactly.
Real. If I'm not talking, I'm either writing, reading, playing video games. That's it.
Right. How has your writing been going? That's something for those of you who don't know. Block A is an avid writer, and he got into writing pretty hardcore when we were in college. And I know that's something that, you know, everyone has their things that they do to, you know, kind of help, you know, mitigate stress and all that jazz. And so I know Blake is, you know, really into writing, which is something, you know, my wife, she's a big writer and reader as well. I'm more the talker guy. But how is your writing going? What I guess kind of I know you were kind of talking about, you know, maybe doing some short stories and, you know, stuff like that. Book maybe. What's going on with that?
So I've written a few short stories. I don't know. For me, it's hard to get writer's block. And for right now, though, because I've just been, you know, dabbling, I think I have like 3 or 4 snippets of scenes of just like, this is what I'm doing and this is what I want to do with it, but I don't know where it's going to go. So I don't really have a set story, but I just have like just pictures and scenes and plots, like arguments, negotiations, like this. Like it's literally just a whole big puke on paper, but I have nothing to link it yet. So, and I don't even really have full characters developed yet. Like I just kind of look around. I'm like, oh, what should I name this? And like, I'll just see like a can. I'm like, can, can't, ban, Stan. Like, Stan, that's going to be his name. So there's no set, like eventually their names will probably get changed. Cause like, I'm not really set on it, but like, just for the sake of, I want to just write it down and come up with a name real quick. That's what I've been doing. But yeah, I've been kind of like all this whole
oh no.
So
I think
like before.
Go ahead. Sorry, you froze there for a second, so I was like so now okay, yeah, go ahead.
All right. So like before this whole, you know, stay-at-home order was established, I think this was like back in January, February, right when the coronavirus first came to the United States. I think I just went to like a complete daze one day and just sat down for like 3 hours and wrote like a little intro of somebody who was just like, just at the bar drinking. And then all of a sudden, like something happened, like kind of like the coronavirus, but in my story, it's a lot worse, let's just say. And then he goes home. He goes home because like the government's like, yo, go back home because shit's about to hit the fan. As he's leaving, he sees like these people drinking like one last midnight type of thing. And he's like, man, I wish I was just acceptance of like that. So then he goes home, he looks out the window and he just sees like his whole city in shambles. And he's just like, wow, that didn't take very long. So that's kind of the intro. I don't really know how it's going to play out, but it would definitely be more of the apocalyptic era, you know, the one that we kind of wanted. Instead, we got this one.
Right.
And I don't know. I just find it funny though that like people we're like, oh, I got enough supplies to last me for 10 years in my underground bunker. And then all of a sudden, let's see, what
They fucking need it. All the end of the
a
world
month and
people.
a half in, they're like, yo, I need my motherfucking haircut.
Right.
I can't take this anymore. This isn't the apocalypse I signed up for. It's just like, oh, come on now.
No, dude, all those doomsday people, all those motherfucking people that literally have
Dude,
those
they're
bunkers
losing
and
their
shit.
minds.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're like, I fucking told you. I told you.
Dude, the funny thing is though too, like they're the ones who are protesting outside, and yet come a month from now, they're gonna be in the hospital bed saying, "Why didn't you stop us?" I'm like, this is what you get.
Right. Honestly, it's going back to your story, your idea for that is that, it's I really like that. And obviously, we're going through something right now. So obviously you can draw inspiration with that. The apocalyptic thing seems to always kind of be on humans' radars. Is that we're, it's kind of like
Yeah.
wondering like, oh fuck, when's it gonna end? Like, we're, if and when or how and whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think it's really awesome. Like I said, and if like that's how you do it. Like I said, I've never written a fucking book myself, but like, like I said, all the greats, talk about like, well, I kind of came up with this little plot line and I started with this and I just had some characters and I kind of had a thought and then I fucking did this and I did that and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
boom, and then they're balls deep and they got 10 books out and it's just like, they got something really fucking awesome going.
Yeah. Cause like, I don't know, it dates back to all the way like in our Best Buy days. Cause I just remember like some employees there, and I remember talking to you about this. I was just like, to be honest, like there's nothing you really need in this store. And then
No.
like I kind of drew inspiration. I wouldn't name names for the sake of people who I kind of gunned down in my story, but like, there was just kind of a scavenger just like going around, just watching, looking everything. And then like he goes up to like a semi, and then in the back of it's just dead bodies burned. And like he just recognizes some of those people, and he's like, this is what happens when like you go to government for help or something on the lines of that. Because like if shit were to get like super super bad, I would I would not trust the government for my safety. I'd be like, yo, I'm just gonna go dig my own grave in the backyard at this point.
Right. And that's so crazy is that, you work for the government, it's like I said, you were signed up to the man. It's like, there's, what would you say to people that, are so about just like giving all of their like freedom to the government? It's like, government take care of me, government take care of me. Like, me personally, I think that's not the move. I think
No.
that, the whole idea of this country is to like, they're supposed to serve us in, not in the sense of like take care of us in every single sense of the word. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
basically like those people are like, basically they want to take personal responsibility away and accountability away, and they want the government to do it. But then what they don't realize is that you're giving away your personal freedom then, because if you just want them to do it, they're like, okay, well, we'll do it, but you're going to do it our way. And this is how it's going to be done. And boom, boom, boom. And then little by little, they take shit away from you and then you're fucked. Like, why don't people see that?
I don't know. It's problems that they'd never had to deal with in their life. Like I know what it's like to. I mean, yeah, I know, like going through the Marines boot camp. Like you're pretty much treated like a POW from the get go. Because like this is like, because I remember reading like, hey, what do prisoners of war get? They get services such as like food, email or mailing letters to home, religious services, and stuff like that. And I was just like, wait a minute, like this is what they're doing to their own people. And when I was 18 and I signed up, I was just like, dude, I didn't do anything wrong, and yet I feel like I'm in fucking jail. Like, and I get the pride, the nation's pride and everything like that, but it's at the same time, it wasn't my cup of joe. Like I wanted the challenge, I got what I asked for. And my whole military experience was just based off experience. Like, would I do it again? If I did, I would do it a whole lot differently. But if I went the same route, I would be a whole lot different person.
Right.
Which, I mean, take it with the good and the bad, because I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic or anything, but I did like to party on the weekends, but I stayed sober during the weekdays. So it was just like, it is what it is.
Right.
But I don't know, for just trusting, like I do remember like one of my buddies, he took his own life in the barracks and stuff like that too. And at first they like kind of mourned it. Like, they gave us like a day, and then I think like the third or fourth day, they just like threw down the fucking hammer on everyone there. Like solely restrictions and everything. Like It was kind of like the Patriot Act in a sense. Like if you witness something, or if you see something, or this person's not doing something, like make sure you report it right away, because we don't want another, thing on our hands. Which I
What
just was
happened?
like,
Did he just drink too much and get fucked up, or I mean, what happened?
no, he at the time it was their reawakening program. So this was back in like 2014. So they just wanted the best of the best.
So
No.
what does that mean? I'm a fucking idiot when it comes to like the military stuff. Like what does that mean?
So the reawakening program was like, we are all getting sluggish because the war in Afghanistan was over, and like everything was died down in Iraq. Because before that, it didn't matter what you did. You could get DUIs, drug pops, but you could re-enlist. So the
Whoa,
military
really?
was like, yeah. So the military was like, yo, we're doing this program. If you have any strikes in your record, hey, you're pretty much getting the boot. Honorable discharge, but you're pretty much getting the boot. And they set you up in tiers. So if you were, I don't know, tier 3 or 4, chances of you re-enlisting weren't that big versus the 1 and 2s. So my buddy, he was, 20-year man, die hard, and he, yeah, they told him he had to go home, and yeah, he hung himself in the shower. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
So, and it was, yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
I mean, he was a good guy, but I don't know.
Do you feel
I
like he
don't
was
understand.
battling some shit before that?
Yeah, but that was just me knowing what I know. I guarantee there's more to the story that I don't know.
Right.
So for anyone else who's watching this who knows, I mean, hey, I'm sorry, but this is just the stuff I knew.
Right.
So I know there's a whole lot more. There's so much more stuff to go through it, but
Mm-hmm. You know, it's crazy. For the longest time, like I thought about joining the military. Like, you know, my grandpa was in the military, my uncle was in the military, you know, my dad was in the military. You know, they all did like, you know, they weren't like super hardcore where it's like, oh, boom, okay, go. You know, my grandpa, he did a few tours. He fought in the Korean War. Um, and you know, my uncle, he did a bunch of different tours. He was in the Navy. They're all in the Navy, and so it's like obviously, you know, I was like, hey, you know, I just want to go in the Navy. And I'm kind of glad in a way that I didn't, because almost everyone I've met that has served has some level of regret for serving, but they also, it has its pros and cons, I'm sure, like with anything else, but
yeah,
it's just, you
it's
know,
good, good and the bad.
just knowing how the path I took and kind of the route I went, just hearing kind of how other people's, you know, journeys and, you know, that maybe chose the military route. And I got some of my fucking best friends and some of the best people I know were military people. You were in the military. Darius is still doing his thing in the military. So it's like, you know, my buddy Lenny down from Iowa Central, shout out to him. If you're listening to this, you know, active duty guys, you know, he came back right before the wedding, but he couldn't leave because he couldn't go more than 300 miles from base. And he's down in
Yeah,
Texas. And so he could only come up to like fucking basically Iowa, like just like to like basically Des Moines is as close as he could get. And or I think it was 3 hours. Could be 3 hours. What the fuck was
yeah.
it? 300
I
miles
mean,
or
it's
three? I don't know. Like I said, I'm
yeah,
not. But either way, like I said, shout out to him, and you know, shout out to all you guys, because like I said, you guys are all doing shit that I could never fucking do. I mean, I could, but like I'm too selfish in the sense that I don't want to do that, because I don't think none of the people would do that for me. Is bullshit as that sounds. Is, you know, it's, you know, I don't think you know, in my eyes, my one little bit of effort would make the world of difference. And I know that they teach you probably the total opposite. It's like every man counts, and you're only as good as your weakest
yeah,
link. You know, I get all that. It's just something that, you know, the path I've taken in the world, you know, like seeing the world how I've seen it living, you know, my 20 years of life, you know, you know, and that's why, you know, I wouldn't want to do that, because, you know, they take you when you're young, take you 18, 19 years old. And that's when you're still impressionable. They can mold you. You haven't, like, your
yeah,
brain isn't developed. And so they can kind of manipulate you. And that's the whole point of why you can, you know, you can join your 18 is because you're
yeah,
like full of piss and vinegar, like, fuck yeah, fuck Nazis, fuck whoever, you know, like, you know, whoever it is that you're fighting, whoever, you know, whoever's the bad guy at that, you know, ISIS or whatever.
yeah. Because
Um,
I do distinctly remember like propaganda videos that they would have out there just for us
yeah,
to like hate someone that we don't even know. And it
right. If
was,
they look like this,
and
hate
like,
them.
yeah, because like, again, I was 18, 19 at the time when I was going through training. And this is like, yo, this is what we're fighting for. And they would show us like, that super motivational badass video. And you're just like, I hate this person.
America.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know them, but I hate them. I'm just like, now looking back at it, I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking idiot.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's the whole point.
Because like, especially when I got to my first few years in college too, like when I moved to Mankato, it was just such a culture shock right away too. Because like I was just like, damn, I'm the fucking baddest motherfucker ever, and then I get my shit rocked at the bars during that week. I'm just like, damn, like you need to chill. Like,
well, to be fair, I mean, you got jumped.
yeah,
Granted, and you were also lit. So I don't give a fuck if you're the best fighter in the world. If you're lit as fuck, your coordination, all your shit, it's not the same.
yeah,
It's just not. So a sober fight. That's why typically, generally speaking, the sober guy will win a fight against a drunk guy more times than not. All
oh
things
for
being
sure,
all things being equal, I bet it's almost 100% of the time.
yeah,
So, but it's yeah, that's crazy. See, and that's the thing too, is that I have a huge problem with like people kind of telling me what to do. I guess there's like there's I guess a defiance to my personality, but in the sense that like it has to make sense. Like if you're just
yeah,
like hate someone because I said so, and I'm like, fuck you, I like that person, or I like someone who looks like that, so I'm not gonna hate every. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah,
and that's why I don't listen to like the mainstream news like CNN, Fox, and all those, MSNBC. They have agendas, and it's like, that's why it's like when I watch this shit, I'm like, fuck you, no matter who it is. Even if I agree with whatever views being said, it's just like, I know that you're pushing it to push it, and you're trying to tell me how to think, and it's like, and that's the thing too, is that being informed nowadays isn't as easy as just turn on the TV and watch the news, because you're not getting the real fucking news. You're getting fake news, whether it's from the right, left. You're getting an agenda based media, and it's a huge fucking problem. And it's like, and then people are lazy. Everything's so quick. We have fucking access to information. We have our phones. We have this and that. We can just, I see a headline, Trump said blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to fucking hate Trump. He's a misogynist. He's a racist. Yet people, I've like watched articles or read articles that people sent me like, see, look, this is why Trump is bad. Me personally, I don't think Trump's that bad. Is he the best president of all time? No. Is he doing a lot of good shit? Yes. Does he say some dumb shit and tweet some dumb shit? Absolutely. But he's a person. He's, and so like there are some good things unequivocally that he is doing. And my thing is the more and more that people say that there's not good things that he's doing, the more and more I want to support the guy. It's not like I'm a gung-ho fucking, Trump is the man. But right now he is president. Right now he is doing shit. And right now it's like, he has been taking care of shit. But like, the left will sit there and tell you that he's, he doesn't like Mexicans. He doesn't like fucking immigrants, even though none of that shit's real. So it's like what the left has done, the reason why the left is gone, because I'm probably 10 years ago, I'd be considered a left wing, but the left has shifted so fucking far left. They're like way the fuck out there now that it's like they're extreme, and it's total compliance. It's like where you have to be this, or you have to fucking be that. You have to think like I think, and it's a self-righteous, like I got to fight for the underdog mentality, and it creates this tribalistic mentality where they gang up on people. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I got a lot of friends who fall into that category, and I love them to death. And as people, they're great people. But you get them on something like with Trump or anything else, and they'll be like, fuck you, and they freak out. And it's like, wait a minute. If you're the left and you're supposed to be loving and understanding, how can you have so much hate for someone, even if Trump is as bad as you say he is? If you're supposed to be loving and understanding, liberal and open-minded to different views, and loving and forgiving, accepting, you can't turn around and say, fuck that guy, I hope he dies. Like that makes you a hypocrite. You're literally becoming what you don't fucking like. You're being hateful. So it's like, that's the big problem I have with like the mob mentality of the left right now. It's that it's like, hey, we got to find common ground, especially right now with this coronavirus thing. Like we need to fucking figure it out. We need to come together.
Never find, you can't talk to people who just think strictly left and strictly right. Like they just lose their minds.
Or fringe people.
And I'm just like, it's like, it's blind loyalty to a party that they don't give up. Like they don't care about you. Like, let's just be honest. Like they have your popularity vote. It doesn't matter. It goes to electorals anyway.
Joe fucking Biden is now the front runner for the Democratic Party. If that doesn't tell you that the Democrats don't give a flying fuck about us, this dude can't even complete sentences. He literally it will be like, well, the thing over there and the chicken wings and I'm sorry, Sally. Like he says shit like that's like a sentence he would say. There's no fucking flow to it. This dude, it's no knock on him. I actually feel really bad that the fucking Democrats are marching him up here, propping him up there, like, yeah, this is our man.
Dude, it's like
and
Weekend
Obama
at
coming out,
Bernie's, like...
yeah, Obama coming out and going, yeah, fucking, I endorse him. It's like, bro, I understand you guys have an agenda to get rid of Trump, and I get all that, but it's like your agenda should be the American people. That's why Trump is going to win in November. Like, that's why Trump won in 2016. Yeah. That's why he's going to win in November, is because he literally is everything he's been doing for the American people. Whether he's doing it for his own ego and he can have all these people be like, yeah, see, it's me, I did it. Okay, maybe that is the case, but he's still doing shit. So if he's doing it for his own selfish, like self-gratification, like ego, his own ego, well, at least he's still doing shit that the Democrats never do. Like, he's actually about that action. That's, you talk to all these people that voted for Trump, and it's like, he's about that action. The Democrats are about words. Every 4 years they come around, hey, yeah, we'll help you. We're this, we're that. And then they don't do shit for 4 years. Obama, let's be real, he didn't do shit. He really didn't do shit. And it's like, and that's the reality of it. It's like, my tax returns the last 3 years, biggest they've ever been. Why is that? You know, it's like, but my thing is that people don't want to be objective. Like, I don't care about gay people. I got tons of minority friends. I got, you know, and I know that's the cop out, you know, oh, I got a black friend, you know, but it's like, I judge people on an individual basis. If you're an asshole and happen to be black, you're not an asshole because you're black. You're just a fucking asshole who happens to be black. And that goes for anything. You know, I don't judge people based on, and if you're gay or whatever, gay, trans, bi, whatever, I personally don't care. If it doesn't affect my family directly or my wallet, I don't give a shit. If you like, my only thing with that is, like, with a lot of the pride stuff, is that it's now become over-sexualized. You can celebrate being gay without it being so over-sexualized. You know, you go to the pride parades right down the street, one of the biggest ones in the country here in Minneapolis, right down the street from me. You go there and it's all these dudes in thongs and bulges and scrotum sticking out. And it's like, there's kids there and shit. It's like, come on now. Imagine if that was a straight parade. You know, I know that sounds stupid, but a gathering that was predominantly a straight gathering, and there was titties hanging out, vaginas hanging out, you know, straight dudes with their dicks and balls hanging out. People would freak out. People would have a fucking riot. You know, so my thing is, like, you can be gay, you can do this. So, I mean, I have my views on it, but as far as, like, overall, like, I don't care. So socially, I'm super liberal. I just don't like the government in my pocket taking all my fucking money. They already got enough of it. So I guess so, you know, so if anything, I'm considered a moderate centrist, because I had to look it up, which would actually put me more in the liberal category, left wing, than would right wing. But because I say I like Trump, or I like these different things that he's doing, people are like, you're a fucking Nazi. And, you know, I got a shaved head, blue eyes. They're like, you must love Hitler. And I'm just like, okay, well, no, that's not it. You know, it has everything to do with the policies that are being implemented, and the politics of the left right now. I know I'm on this long-winded rant right now, but it's like, it's just something that's so frustrating, because, like, the left is up here, you know, saying, oh, we care about you, and the right ain't doing shit to help you. It's like, well, you guys are putting a guy up there that can't even fucking remember what he had for breakfast up there to make decisions that are going to affect every single fucking American in this country, and you're acting like that he doesn't have a problem. How can I trust you if you're putting a guy up there who clearly has dementia or cognitive decline, might not even make it the 4 years? And it's like, just to get Trump out of office, instead of putting the bullshit aside and trying to work with him, you're just be like, no, we're going to put a guy up there who's clearly not suited for office. You're trying to tell me that political party gives a fuck about me as an American citizen when they're putting a guy up there that can't even remember how to tie his shoes? Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I totally agree. He has dementia or not, like, he is definitely declining, and it's showing bad.
And it's sad.
Like, and my girlfriend Haley, she works at a nursing home, and she works in the dementia department. Like, there are some times where, like, people would be in there and, like, you know, they don't need help, but then during this coronavirus thing, she's like, yeah, there's a lot of people in there that are just declining.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing too, is that, you know, like,
they need social interaction.
Yeah, they need social interaction, is what you just said.
Right. You know, well, Joe's getting a lot of it, but the fact is that it's all like, how can he adjust on the fly? Like, that's my biggest thing. Is like, you know,
it's just like Weekend at Bernie's. Like, like, I see that he can have some good people backing him. Like, but
whoever the vice president is will be running the country straight up if he wins.
It's pretty much that.
So,
and I could see, like, him surrounding himself with, like, scientists, people, and, like, you know, stuff that the Trump administration doesn't have. But at the same time, it's just like I don't expect you to be like going out publicly talking to people, because they're gonna look at you and be like, yo, why isn't he in jail?
Dude, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna we're never gonna see him. They're gonna eventually, he's gonna get so bad that like they're gonna just have like a monitor, like a hologram of him, like show up and do these press conferences, because they're not gonna be able. So they'll be able to alter his speech and shit. You're not gonna ever really see Joe Biden ever if he wins. Straight up, I think. I
mean,
think
just like now having him stay on air for about like a few minutes and everything, because like even in like the Democratic nominations, like they gave him loads of times not to speak when it was on either Bernie or Elizabeth Warren. And he was just kind of like low dodging it. Then he comes out of nowhere and wins primary. Like he probably had to think really, really hard just on what he was going to say and just like those snippets versus Bernie, Elizabeth, and who was the other guy? Billionaire. I forgot his name.
who? Bill Gates.
No, it was a billionaire that was running for Democratic nomination.
Blumberg.
That's it.
Blumberg. Sorry.
And like you just look at all of them, and they were just like at each other's throats. Like, don't trust this person. He's shady. He's a billionaire. We have a billionaire. Don't trust him. And then once they all drop out, they're just like surrenderly like, I'm endorsing this person. I'm just like, why? Like, you were just talking shit about him for the past 6, like, who knows how long, and now you're endorsing them. It's just, I don't get it.
I was talking about that with my grandma. You know, shout out to my grandma who does have Alzheimer's. I don't know if I told you that or not, but she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. It's stage 4 right now. But she's all there. Like, she's on this medication right now. Like, you know, so like I kind of heard that, you know, she was kind of bad, this and that. I don't know. When I've hung out with her a lot in the last few weeks. You know, I know you're not supposed to like kind of be around people, but I really haven't been around people or anything. But basically, like, she seems fine. But we were kind of talking about that too, is about, you know, how politics is like, it's such a fucking dirty game. It's like, oh, they'll sit and talk shit all year, all like, oh, I fucking hate this person. You did this shady thing. They point out all your dirty, you know, air your laundry, and put your fucking secrets out there. And then the moment that they come to the conclusion, like, yeah, you're not going to win, so you might as well drop out. Come support this guy. It's all about supporting the team, supporting the blue versus the red, instead of just like, okay, well, wait a minute. You would never catch my ass if I was like, hey, this guy did this and that, and he had all this fucking crazy shit, Joe Biden, the sexual allegation shit, and also than that, you know, and then have me turn around and be like, after I called him out on that, and be like, yeah, I'm fucking here for you, Joe. It's like, nah, because then you're two-faced. Like, how can you be taken seriously as a fucking, not only as a politician, but as a person, if you just retract everything you just said just because you lost, and then you turn around and you suck their dick? It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and like, people can't get away with that anymore because we have stuff that's there 24/7 keeping an eye on you. It's called a little camera. So people back, who even knows when, even before TV, they could probably have done the same shit, but we wouldn't know because there's no video footage of it. There's no people cherry picking it or breaking it down section by section.
Right. You know, and
that's what I do. That's what I love about the internet too, because like, no matter what, there's always one person out there just breaking it down step by step.
Right. And you know, damn, dude, I'm like having like my wisdom teeth are coming in, and not to like change subject or anything, but like, if you see me like adjusting my jaw, it's like I have the worst fucking lockjaw right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, damn, you have your wisdom teeth still?
Hell yeah, bro.
I got mine out at 19.
Well, it's been I wanted to get it done because I just got a raise right before the corona hit, and so like my shirt, like I got, you know, better insurance and everything, so I did this and that. Before I can even set my first appointment, boom, get laid off. There's like, all right, you can pay this much for your 1 more month of insurance, or you can go without. And I'm like, I might need this money. And so I just did that instead. So I didn't get a chance to, and it's just like, a lot of times they'll hurt for like 2 or 3 days, and they'll adjust, and then they kind of stop, and then it kind of goes back. But yeah, dude, it's you know, going back to that, it's, you know, with the whole the politics, you know, I was saying this to my grandma, so it's a really a dirty fucking business. It really, and I really wanted to go into political science when I was in like high school. Like, I had hair at my ass about wanting to, you know, be a politician, or, you know, make change, kind of be one of those, you know, elected leaders. And there's no fucking way I could either suck enough dick or kiss enough
Yeah.
kiss enough ass or be grimy enough. I think my moral code, it's like, I'm no fucking angel, but a lot of the shit that, you read about these politicians doing to get power and a lot of shit they do, it's like, there's no
Yeah.
fucking way, dude. There's no way I could do it. I couldn't sleep at night. I don't know how a lot of these motherfuckers do it. And I know they're not all bad, but most of them are. If people are like, oh, people in Hollywood, you can trust so-and-so. It's like, bullshit. Can't trust a one of them.
Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah. Just anybody in like I wouldn't even say, I guess anyone that has a camera in their face. I mean, granted, it's both of us on here, but we haven't been around enough to like, we haven't been around enough on the camera scene to be like, oh yeah, this is this, and this. We can't talk about this. We can't talk about that. Like, we don't have a problem with like discussing what we want to talk about.
Well, the thing is that we don't have an ulterior motive. Like, we're not talking, like, I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid from some big pharma company, or I'm not getting paid from some news outlet to talk about this or that. This is completely us just having an honest, free-flowing conversation. That's why I don't edit my podcast. I don't edit these videos other than to cut them up into little sections and kind of put our social media and shit on there. Other than that, because I want a real, flowing, authentic conversation. I want it to be real. Not something that's written down or scripted where it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to ask this question and now I'm going to fucking do this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like it just takes away from the authenticity of what you're trying to do. And when it comes to politicians, everything's written down, everything's planned. Like, ooh, this is how we should talk about this, and this is how we should say this. And another thing too with the politics now is that they're using fear. They're using fear to fucking control this country right now. It's like, how many conspiracy theories out there right now about fucking COVID? 10, 15? I just Googled them. I just Googled it when you were, talking the last time. It said COVID top 10 current conspiracy theories. This is from 420. Haha. Let me know. Nice. Let me know. I'm going to read through all these and you let me know if you heard them. Have you heard that it's 5G?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I kind of want to touch on all these, but I'm going to go through this list and then we'll kind of talk on them. Bill Gates as a scapegoat.
I have, yeah, but I don't really know much about that one.
All right. It says most conspiracy theories, like the virus, they resemble, constantly mutate, and have several variants cycling at one time. Many of those plots and subplots seem to involve Bill Gates, who became a new target of disinformation after gently criticizing the defunding of the World Health Organization. Blah, blah, blah.
So it's like Bill Gates and the vaccine and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Same type of shit. The virus escaped from a Chinese lab. That's the big one.
Heard that one.
COVID was created as a biological weapon.
I heard that.
The U.S. military imported COVID into China.
I haven't heard that one.
GMOs are somehow to blame.
What the fuck?
COVID-19 doesn't actually exist. Okay.
I've heard that.
Well, that's interesting. The pandemic is being manipulated by the deep state, a.k.a. the Illuminati.
No,
they're trying to undermine
They're honestly just chilling. They're watching everyone else do it.
And freaking out. Yeah, apparently Dr. Anthony Fauci is a secret member of the Illuminati. COVID is a plot. COVID is a plot by Big Pharma. COVID death rates are inflated. I do think they are inflated because, like, you could have COVID and get hit by a car and they're going to count it as a COVID death. Yeah. So, yeah, I do think that there's some bullshit there.
Yeah. Like, if you die on the operating table and, like, you had a lung transplant and you died and you just had COVID, they're going to be like, yeah, you died from COVID.
Exactly.
We got to pump those numbers up.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, all of those are kind of really crazy. And, you know, the thing is that anyone who's like, I know what's going on, shut the fuck up, because even the people that really know what's going on don't really know what's going on. You know, the people that are like that are researching, that are doing the fucking, you know, they're checking the facts, they're doing this, they're doing that. Even they don't even know what the fuck's going on because everything keeps changing minute by minute. Like,
I think it keeps mutating. The virus does.
Yeah, you know what I think it is? I think Mother Nature's like, fuck y'all, you're fucking my shit up. Pollution, all this other shit. And she's like, you know, I think we need to thin the herd. You got too many fucking idiots out here, and it's time to thin the herd. And she's like, what can I do? Boom. Or on the flip side of that is that maybe it really did. Maybe it was a biological weapon, because I did read some shit saying that. And again, you know, disclaimer: I am no expert on anything. So anyone listening, take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is meant to be a fun, comedy-like interview style podcast. So that we're going to talk shit, we're going to crack jokes. So if you get easily offended, take your ass somewhere else, because this is not the one for you. With that being said, we're going to talk a lot of shit, and we're going to be wrong a lot on shit. So, because we don't really know. So if you know, by all means, hop in the comments and let us know. But as it stands right now, just know that we're out here just speaking our minds. With that being said, what if, being a former military man, let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible that there was some hanky-panky going on either with our government or with the Chinese government and potentially planting this virus or working on the virus? Do you think there was intent, or do you think this was oh fuck, or do you think it was nature going fuck you?
That's a big loaded question.
It is. It's a lot.
I mean, when it comes to the United States and China, I mean, it's kind of like just having a relationship between a businessman and like a seller, as America's the seller, or not the seller, yeah, and China's the businessman. Like, we get everything from there. Like, they make everything. Mm-hmm. And when they shut down, it hit here pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, they had to flood trillions of dollars just to save the stock market, mm-hmm. and give everybody in the United States a $1,200 check. That's probably not even, like, probably a lot of people already spent.
Oh, our shit was gone right away.
And I mean, you look at it now too, like, just in the United States aspect, like, I think, what was it, 1/3 of people right now can't pay rent.
At least.
Yeah, if they do pay rent, not homeowners, just renters.
I am a renter.
So that definitely speaks for itself right there, and what's going to happen in the future. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't know. I do believe that there was like a research lab nearby where they were studying bats on this chemical, biological weapon, because every country has one.
That's a fact, right? I read the same thing. I read something that there was a report, not to interrupt, but I did read that they were testing on bats this thing in Wuhan, which it is true that it's like 300 yards from the wet market. This lab that is in Wuhan, it's real. You can go there. It's like a real thing. It's not fake news. It's really there. Yeah. And I did read that they were testing it on bats. And one of them, allegedly, I heard a rumor that there was a guy who was slinging bats on the side because he wasn't making a lot of money. So he was selling some of the bats to the wet markets to make some extra cash, and that's how it got out. Ooh. It's like a fucking movie scene, I know, but like that's what I heard. Isn't that crazy? Like, what happens if it was some shit like that? Some dude that's just trying to fucking make some extra cash, and he caused this worldwide pandemic. Think about that. That would be
the funniest shit ever. Because I would just be like, damn. I mean, like, we got. But at the same time, though, it's because, like, what if they were just, they just had them like outdoors, big open lab and stuff, and like one of the bats just broke through and no one noticed until like a day later, and they're just like, oh fuck.
Bro,
kind of like in Rick and Morty, where they had all those like little worms in the garage, and he's like, yeah, don't let that get out of the garage, or you're gonna have to free some sperm.
Right.
And a bird takes one away, and you're just like, oh, like, I can just see that happening, and some dude's just like, I gotta get out of here.
That's crazy. Because oh man, see, that seems realistic to me. Like the 5G one, that seems like bullshit, because 5G is only in like 5 countries, and this shit's in like fucking over 100 countries.
Yeah.
So
with the whole 5G thing, like, I get the fact that there's not a lot of research because it's dealing with something that I don't even truly understand, like gamma radiation or something. I mean, both of those are just like, yeah, radiation's not good for a person because you can see what it can do in Chernobyl.
But they've been saying this shit about cell phone towers forever. Like,
yeah,
they've been saying like, oh, people have been worried about it and fucking, so.
Yeah, but if people are worried about it, it's like, it can't go very far, and it only goes like 30 feet distance or something like that. And like, if you live next to a power line, it's just as dangerous. So it's just like, I mean, I'm really not sold on it, but at the same time, it's just like it could shoot right through your body. We don't know what that's going to happen in about 5, 10 years, 20 years. But
right.
And like, if you're worried about getting cancer, well, put down the Coca-Cola or stop eating McDonald's, because you're going to get the same shit.
Yeah, if you're eating fucking fast food, drinking pop all the time, and sitting on your ass and not doing shit, you're more likely to get sick than you are from fucking some type of radiation or any bullshit like that. You're far more likely to die of diabetes or some type of heart failure.
Yeah. Heart disease
in that sense,
overdosing medication. There's so much shit. Like, you can literally pick anything in your room. I guarantee you could die from it. Just however it's used.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, more people. I know we just crossed what was death toll yesterday? Like, it was finally like 1 million worldwide deaths. Did it finally get to 1 million?
I think it might have been cases, but deaths were in still the thousands.
100,000? Maybe that's what it was. I can't remember what it here. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Deaths due to COVID. All right, so in the United States, we have 65,000 deaths.
Okay.
You think about, okay, so 65,000 since, like, they say what? It's been here since what, November, December, early January, so say 4 months.
Well, yeah, it didn't come to the United States until, I would say, late January, early February.
Okay, so, I mean, you think about, all the people that are dying and everything, which, it's really, though, it's like, it's typically, it's really old people or really people that aren't in good health, like smokers, fat people, and someone got on my ass. I had said something about, like, oh, fat people. Oh, that's mean. It's like, okay, I'm just going to go on a little tangent real quick because it's something that's so irritating. Like, I'm like a skinnier, leaner dude. People call me skinny. It's like, okay, well, should I freak out and be like, that's fucking rude? Because sometimes it does hurt. I shouldn't say hurt my feelings, but it's like, I'm not skinny because, like, when I see a skinny guy, that's fucking skinny. Like, I got some muscle to me.
Twig. Yeah.
Right. But people don't get mad when you call someone tall or short or whatever. So, or muscular, but when you call someone fat, it's a problem. The thing is that being fat is not healthy. And that's the bottom line. And especially if you're obese, it's really not healthy, and you're far more likely. They say the number one factor that affects your health as far as this whole COVID thing goes, as far as like how you're going to be healthy and how things are going to go, is your fucking immune system. And the number one thing you can do with your immune system is diet and exercise. You need to exercise because you need to exercise is the number one thing, followed second by diet. You need to like make sure you have a great diet, not like a great diet, but like don't eat a bunch of processed shit. Don't eat a bunch of greasy shit. Get your vegetables, get your vitamin D, take your vitamins, and fucking move your body. If you're not doing that shit, you're increasing your chances of getting sick and not making it through. Most people that are getting it are making it through. They're estimating from 50 to 70% of the entire population is going to get this thing. We might have already had it already, and it could have come and gone already. Because, now that I think about it, there was back in like January or February, I did get like a cough. Like I had this like kind of like cough, like it just came out. Marina had it, and then I had it, and I had it for maybe 4 or 5 days. And it was like, it wasn't bad, but it was like, I couldn't breathe. Like, going,
yeah.
Like
there was,
and then it was fucking gone.
This happened to me back in, roughly January too, around the same time, February. Because like I couldn't go to work, not because of COVID. I just couldn't get out of my bed because I was in chronic pain. And then I just like crawled to the bathroom and puked, and I couldn't even breathe. Like afterwards, like it was like something was just stuck right here, and I just couldn't breathe. Mm-hmm. So then called my work. Can't come in. They're like, yeah, I understand. Like this is before like the lockdown happened.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think I took off like 3 days or something because I just wasn't feeling hot. And then like by the 4th day, I was just like, yo, what the hell was that? Because I've never experienced any sort of pain like that in my life.
Right. Yeah. See, and that the thing is that, going back to the whole thing of like, hey, we don't even fucking know. It's like the tests that we have right now are not even like, first of all, people can't even get the tests, but like the tests that they're doing now, like the saliva test, it's like, have you heard anything about those? Like I've heard like bullshit. I've heard, I don't fucking know.
I think it's bullshit because there's a lot of people who don't even know like what to even look for because they're just getting the tall tale signs like, hey, do you have a fever? Do you have a cough? Do you have this? Do you have that? Like, like, what's your temperature?
Yeah. It's like every time I go on to the, to go look at something, it's like, oh, here's fucking 6 new symptoms of people that had it. So it's like, the thing is that they don't fucking know because some people could be like, oh, I have an itchy butthole and all my other friends have itchy buttholes too. And they all have COVID, but it's like, there could be no correlation there, So it's like, they're really, we don't fucking know. And all these people are like, I know, I fucking read. It's like, go look, even the leading researchers don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. My, laptop's about to die, so I'm gonna try to find that power cord.
Oh yeah, vamos. While Block A goes and does this thing, everybody, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll take a little break here in the action. If you guys are tuning in, I just want you guys to know that I appreciate you guys tuning in, checking us out. Sorry for the delay in putting out the episode. It's probably going to we're trying to do at least once a week, maybe 2 a week. Take some time to we want to put, time aside, do this right. If you guys do want to support us, go ahead and check us out on Podbean. We have to get to 5 episodes before we can upload to Spotify and iTunes. So we're going to hopefully do that here once we get to our 5th episode. Go check us out on YouTube at the Gamer Project. We got reaction videos on there. I'm going to upload a training video hopefully tomorrow. Let us know what you guys think. And yeah. The love is appreciated, Gear Squad.
All right, we're back.
Boom, we are back.
Ooh, hit that right nice in time, too.
Perfect.
All right, so
Anyway, we'll kind of get off the depressing shit for a little bit, and I kind of want to switch it up. So obviously with a lot of downtime, a lot of video gaming being done. I've been reading a lot too. I'm balls deep in this David Goggins book I got for Christmas called Can't Hurt Me. Shout out David Goggins. You should check it out. Obviously, do you know who David Goggins is?
No.
All right. For those of you who don't know, I'll just get a quick little recap of who he is. He's a former Navy SEAL. And he went through 6 or 7 hell weeks. And then he turned into an ultra runner. So now he's an ultra marathoner. He does 300-mile races, all kinds of shit. It basically talks about his story. Ooh, that's a loud doggy.
Yep.
And so basically he's this this ultra runner, and he's African-American dude. Used to be super jacked. Now he's kind of slimmed down, but basically, you hear his whole story on basically how he comes from this poor kind of abused childhood. And then he basically hear his whole life story about how he trained his mind to become this ultimate fucking beast. He's got the world record for most pull-ups in in 24 hours. He's got 4,000, 5,000 some pull-ups in a day, some crazy shit. He's got, all kinds, just, I'm going to send you a video. I'll link it in the description. The Joe Rogan podcast interview where he kind of tells his story. It's really fucking awesome. He hearing out of his own mouth, you hear his own emotion on it. It's very fucking awesome. Anyway, balls deep in that, so you should go check it out. But I'm trying to read more. And anyway, gaming. So this is what I really wanted to talk about. So first of all, did you see that? You have PS4, right?
Yeah.
All right. So did you see that the Uncharted series is free on PlayStation?
I did. I actually got it.
All right. I did too. Super jazzed about that. I played the first one, beat the first one, did not play the next two or 3, right? There's 3 of them?
Mm-hmm.
4.
There's actually 4.
There's 4 because Thieves End is the last one, right? That's the newest one.
I think so.
So I got that. Then I kind of dove into Bioshock a little bit because I've been kind of hopping around because I've had the time.
Have you ever played which one? The original?
They had the trilogy, the collection.
Okay.
So they had the first 2, and Infinite is the 3rd or whatever.
Yep, Infinite's probably my favorite. Same with the first one.
Yeah, so I'm playing the first one right now. So I'm probably 15, 20 minutes worth of gameplay into probably more than that, probably an hour into that. And then I've been playing Assassin's Creed 2 because it's one of my all-time favorite games. And I got the the Ezio Auditore collection where it's all 3 of his storylines, which he's easily the best character. But then the game I just got recently is Jurassic World Evolution. So basically it's like The Sims, where you get to create your own park, create your own dinosaurs, create your own fucking everything. And as you play, you unlock different species. You have to do research and go and dig sites and, to get the DNA to make, dinosaurs. And you have to it starts at okay, I got 1 fossil and it gave me 10%. I need to get 10 more before I can unlock it, shit like that. So I've been playing the fuck out of that. So if you're a Sims guy or anything where you got to build shit, where it's it's one task at a time, and you got to do all these different things to get money, and you have revenue, so you have to, you can open up gift shops, and you can open up a science center, and you can do this, and then you literally can map out and create your own cages for the dinosaurs and different terrain and all. So it's very deep, and I've been super balls deep in that, and it's crazy because I've been really, I don't remember having this much time to game and stuff. And so it's like, I've just been fucking balls deep in it. Like last night I was up to like 1 a.m. playing that shit. And so you should definitely check it out because it's, I think it's right now, I think it's on sale for like $20 right now,
Nice.
maybe 15 or $20. It's normally like 50 or 60. But yeah, if you're into that type of shit, check it out. And I've also been playing fucking Dark Souls 3, which is the hardest game I've ever fucking played in my life. I almost broke my controller a couple times. So
yep, that's how you invest. No, I had it. I have Dark Souls 3, and I mean, I don't get mad at video games, but I definitely get irritated, like as soon like
pissed
in a
as
game
fuck.
like that, because yeah, if you play Dark Souls, you know you die a lot, and you don't even have to die from the boss. You could just die from just a regular character, and you're just
yeah,
this
and you're
shouldn't
fucking
have
having.
happened.
And you haven't seen a bonfire in an hour and you're fucking freaking out because you're out of health and you're like, oh, fuck, dude, I haven't saved in like an hour and I'm nowhere near a bonfire. And it takes you all the way back. And on top of that, there's no fucking direction. The game just starts and you're just there. And then you eventually run to this temple and you talk to some people and they don't really tell you what's going on. They're basically like, yeah, you're back from the dead. And that's all they really fucking tell you. And then you just play.
The game, though.
You're
just out there. I think what really got me though is like every time you go to a bonfire. I mean, like I get it, you re-up your health and everything, but everyone starts over, so you're just fighting the same people who you just defeated. And there's been because like I'll admit I'm not that good at the game, so
I'm not good.
It definitely. And
I'm a good gamer.
Interest. Yeah. It definitely, I'm not a good gamer. I'm just a casual one. But it definitely piques my interest
Oh, no, you're a good gamer.
Like all the lore and stuff. All right, thanks. It definitely piques my interest in all like the lore and the backstory and all the cool creations of the monsters. But it's just like, man, it's so frustrating just to get in there, just to like get all the way there. Right. And I don't think I'd have the patience for it, to be honest.
No, it's one of those games where that I've read that it teaches you patience and you need to be really patient when you play it. And I'm, depending on the game, I can be patient. Otherwise I can be throwing my shit across the room. Kind of really depends on what the game is. Yeah.
I guess it depends on the day.
Also, another, you know what games I've really been getting into is like the storytelling games. So I just played The Last of Us, the first one, the remaster version. I never played it the first time around on PlayStation 3. I heard it was super fucking good. Was it 2 or 3 when it came out? I think it was 3. Yeah. The Last of Us, I think it was 3. But I played that for the first time.
Last of Us is 2 that's coming out.
Yeah, Last of Us 2 is coming out. Played the first one. Once I started playing it, I couldn't put it down. I love games that have like really good story, like Red Dead Redemption 2, one of my all-time favorite games. Super fucking awesome. The story's great. The everything you can do in it. The Last of Us is very similar to that. And I fucking loved it, and I loved the story. It was so good. It's one of my most favorite games I've ever played. If you've never played it, dude, you should definitely go fucking check it out because it really is that good. And another game that I played that style is like Detroit Become Human and Until Dawn. Like those games where you like it's like a fucking movie story and you can kind of pick and choose. And I love those type of games to see like, all right, like when I was playing Until Dawn, I was playing it and Marina was like, because she couldn't handle it, she was looking up like the choices you can make to see. And I made it to the she was just got it to like, she was watching me play probably like 2-3 hours, get to the end. And she's like, oh shit. And like, I had made all the right choices to make everyone survive because you can survive. Spoiler, you can have everyone survive or no one and everything in between. And I had everyone saved except for like right at the end. I like, you know how you like do like the easy way or the fast way. I did the fast way and I hit the wrong button and my person fell and died. Other than that, I made all the right choices to make everyone survive. But that one person fucking died. So I had like 4 out of the 5 friends, or I only missed the one person. But it wasn't because of the choices I made. So I had, done all the right choices to where everyone would have survived, which is dope. But I like those type of games a lot.
Yeah, my first run through Until Dawn, everyone survived until like the last 10 minutes.
Same.
Because that's when like everything high stakes just gets into it. Because like when those 2 people were in the mine, I had one just ditch the other one, so they died, and then they kept running, so they died. And I was just like, fuck. And then in the house, I moved on accident, so one of my characters died. So I was like, damn,
That's what happened with me, where it's
But-
like put down the controller, and I fucking did, and somehow it vibrated, and that noise made the noise like when my controller vibrated, and the fucking Wendigo, or is that Wendigo?
Yeah, Wendigo.
Fucking came and snatched her. Like,
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, that one. I ended up I get it. I ended up 100%ing that one, getting that gold or platinum trophy because that was one of them I just couldn't put down. Same with Detroit Become Human. I think
I played
have,
that through twice.
Yeah, I think I have like 3 more trophies to get in that game. But yeah, that was another one just because like of all the stuff you could do and just the whole story just is so good. Like if you want to get perspective on just like some time, like when I guess even like the civil rights movement or just even the Holocaust, it's like, yo, this is what could have been. This is what happened. Like discrimination on top of just a mass genocide.
Right. That's fucking, yeah. And that, like I said, those are the type of games, those really dark, deep stories. I really like if you got a good story, like I think that's super important in gameplay, is that I really like a good story to kind of like, draw me in.
That's why Red Dead Redemption was so successful, because it started off
so
like
good.
reading a good book. It started off slow, and then it just like pulls you in right in the right moment. It just pulls you in.
Right. Real quick, I gotta take a piss. So tell a funny story or a joke or something. Keep the fans occupied.
Keep them occupied,
or just some heavy breathing. I'll be right back.
Oh, all right. So pretty much right now, I've been doing. I switched to my Xbox, so I've been the last couple. I guess this past month of April. Well, we're in May 1st now, but April I've been, pretty sluggish. Just a lot of games I want to play, but I played Walking Dead season 1. That was good. I couldn't put it down. And on top of that, played Rocket League. I'm still currently playing that. Resident Evil Revelations. I was a big Resident Evil fan ever since 4 came out on the GameCube. So I can't wait for that remastered version. And I'm currently on State of Decay 2. So kind of like a big zombie binge. Yeah, it's kind of the apocalypse I wish we had, but also at the same time, I'm kind of glad we're in this type of apocalypse setting. But yeah, State of Decay 2, by far one of the most underrated games I've ever played. You have to scavenge, you have to think. It's just a so strategically drawn out game, and I wish it would have gotten the credit it deserves, because when it first on its launch day it kept crashing because it was a Microsoft Studios type of thing, and it just didn't it just kept crashing on people. But now it's been came out in 2018, so just about a year and a half too. It's actually starting to it is a lot better. I mean, games aren't perfect, there's still glitches and stuff, but if you don't mind that and you just like a story, just go for it.
So, what are we talking about?
I was talking about State of Decay 2.
State of Decay 2. Why does that sound
familiar? It's on Xbox.
Sorry, I'm a PS4 guy, y'all. Gearman 800 at me.
Yeah. Because I have both, so I just go one to another every periodically.
I had one of each until Vic got my shit stolen. So other than that, I never went back. I was like, I'll never get an Xbox One for $138 again. So I was like, and that's all I would have spent for it, because I'm PS4 all day, baby.
Yeah, it happens. Are you getting PS5 or?
Oh, PS5. I've gotten every gen since it came out. I got my first one when I was like 5 or 6 years old. PS1 might have been 7. Just came out, and I've had every edition since, and I want to stick with it. I'm a PlayStation guy, and they'll have backwards compatibility, which is super dope. With not every single game, but like they're gonna basically release it in waves, I was reading, so like you can play all your PS4 games and whatnot. Like they're saying maybe back to PS3, which would be really fucking dope.
That would be,
but
yeah, there's oh man, that is where like the last gen, like Xbox One and PlayStation 4 have gone wrong, because just no backwards cat. But on the upside, there's just any game that you want, you could find it, whether if they remade it or it's on Steam.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's the thing too is that what they're doing now is that they're taking some of those classics like The Last of Us and some of these, the Final Fantasy 11 or was it 7 or 11 that they just remade.
7.
That's one of the greatest games of all time. In a lot of people's eyes, and it's now fucking they remastered it and it's on or remade it or whatever, and it's is it out or is it coming out?
No, yeah, it came out I think last month.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the kicker. They didn't finish the whole thing, so right now it's only halfway done. So, oh man, I could just picture myself getting it and being pissed. Yeah.
So wait, what does that mean? You play through half the story and then it's like, oh, sorry, we got to wait till we finish our job. Is that kind of what?
They're gonna release it, but I hope they don't actually charge people for it.
Yeah,
because if you bought the whole game, and I'd hope you get the whole game,
right?
Because it's like getting your project half done and turning it in and be like, oh yeah, the other half's coming soon.
Yeah, is due on this date. So it's like, yeah, you can grade me on this half, and then like in 2 weeks, I'll send you the next half. It's like, full
it's
credit.
Kind of like that. It's just like no, I when it comes to games, I don't care how long it takes. Just take your time, get everything done, and hand something when you're ready.
Right.
Like I don't give a shit. Like unlike some other people out here who are just like, I want it now. I'm like, no, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If push comes to shove, Fortnite's still irrelevant. So you can go ahead and go fuck off and play that.
Right.
Like there's other things out there. You don't need the latest and greatest.
Right.
I just want game developers and stuff like that to just be like, yo, calm down. Like, here's the date. I don't care if it's 5 years from now. Get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're pushing out, because they're pushing out Resident Evil 4, the remastered, and it's supposed to come out, I think, next year.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm looking forward for that because I've Resident Evil 4. I think I played probably once a year since it came out.
Right.
So that's diehard fan of that. And because they've remade 2 and 3, I've never played either of those, but
I've played 2.
Remastered or the original?
The original.
Okay.
We're talking we're talking PlayStation 2, 1 or 2. I think it was
1
2.
or 2. I think it might be 1.
I think it was 1. I'm thinking little square disc, not the long rectangle was PS2, right? Little square was PS1.
Square disc.
Yeah, square disc was PS1 then. Yeah, because 1 and 2, PS1 on the or on the gray console. You know how many people say console? And I'm like, shut the fuck up, you idiot. You don't even know what you're talking about. It's console.
Y'all.
But how are you going to play on a console? Them, they, zim, zer. How do you feel about that? Yo, did I ever tell you what happened at my high school when I was coaching? Did I ever tell you what happened? No. Okay. So this is the first time I'm putting this out here. I'm going to put them on blast a little bit. I want to bring up the zim, zam, zer, them, they thing because I got accused of being a hater of the LGBTQT XYZ, whatever numbers, I don't know what they are. Let me know. Like, I don't really totally keep up with it. So don't crucify me if you're listening and if you do fall in that category. I have nothing but love for you, but I just don't know all your things, all the letters. But with that being said, I've been coaching at said high school. I'm not going to name the name, just out of respect. But if you know, I went there. So if you know. But anyway, I've been coaching track and field there for about the last 4 going on 5 years now. Pretty much since I graduated from college, I've been coaching there. I was a track guy myself, as you know. So I was coaching at Bristol High School. Basically, come January, it was no. Was it January? Late January. Yeah, it was late January. I got an email from the athletic director. So this is 2020. Right. It's before they start locking everything down and everything else. So late January, get an email from the AD and he's like, hey, I need you to come into my office and I need you to, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. I just looked over my phone and my brother's calling me, but just not right now, Nick. So he's like, hey, I need to talk to you about some issues that were brought to my attention. And so right away I was like, this is weird. I was like, what issues could he be talking about? So I was like, okay, cool. Like I can come in on this date. Does this work for you? Yep, cool. So I go there. The woman's there. He's there. It's the assistant principal. She's like, all right, Zach. So here's the deal. So due to some allegations against you that we found due to be true, we have decided that we are no longer going to renew your contract to coach this spring. As you know, these contracts are year to year, and the school reserves the rights to renew them or not. So you're not necessarily being fired. We're just opting to not renew your contract due to these allegations. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, what allegations are these? And before you even answer that, how could you have completely conducted a thorough investigation when I wasn't even like made aware that you guys were even doing anything? And he's like, well, the first allegation is that you on more than one occasion said some inappropriate things regarding the LGBTQT community that could be considered hate speech. And I was like, what? Like, just like, I was just like, the whole time I was waiting for Ashton Kutcher to like look over and be like, ha, punked, gotcha. Cause I'm sitting there thinking like, what the fuck are they talking about? And I was like, what? I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm not following. He's like, there were several reports that you had used the term faggot in front of the students multiple times. And I was like, what? I was like, whoa. I'm like, who said that? I'm like, where did that even come from? Like, what? Like, and instantly I'm over here thinking like, okay, wait a minute. This is so off base because like first and foremost, if I ever were to say faggot, it wouldn't be in front of the high school kids that I'm coaching. That's just not it. Like I'm stern with my kids and I occasionally swear, but I don't like swear at them. I don't call them names. I don't say things that I would believe would upset them in that way. And I would have no reason to ever say faggot. I could never think of a time in my practicing or in my coaching that would even make sense to say. And I'm very conscientious of what I say to the kids because I understand that they're hanging on every single word that I'm saying. Right.
Yeah.
So it's
monkey
like,
see, monkey do. Exactly.
So I'm not going to set especially when I'm preaching about being a good person and, being a good student and holding yourself to a high standard. I wouldn't go down that road. And the coaches know that and the kids know that. And like, so there's this understanding there. So I was so confused. I was like, and I explained this to them like, how could that have been a thing? Well, we had several reports that, like I said, that we were found to be true, and I was just like, okay. I'm like, but like, how many is several? Was it one? Was it two? Was it 30? There's 150 kids on the team. Like who said this, and I feel like, and then he's like, well, we can't, reveal that information to you. And I was just like, well, why not? They can accuse me of something. I should get to know who they are, especially if I was their coach. Like and they can sit there and say that I said something or accuse me of something. I should have the right to defend myself, and two, to be able to be like, hey, what the fuck, like, where did this come from? Like, maybe it was something that was maybe taken out of context, or maybe it was, who know, like, either way, like, I would like to figure out why this person said this, because I'm saying it's not true. But yet what blew me away, I told them, I'm like, you're taking the word of some high school kids, whether it be one or however many you say, you won't tell me who, over an adult. High school kids would lie if it suits them. Like I said, I can picture a situation where, an authoritative figure comes up and says, hey, did Coach Gearman ever say this, or this? And they grill you. Are you sure? Did he say this? Are you sure? Until the kid's like, fine, fuck it. Yeah, he did. Just leave me alone. Stop grilling me. Shit like that has happened. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I know for a fact that I never said no shit like that. I sure as hell never said faggot in front of the kids ever. And then the second thing, he's like, well, there was one other thing that there was reports of you saying. I'm like, well, what's that? He's like, the repeated use of the term no homo. What? Wait.
I've never ever heard you say no homo, ever.
No homo. Yeah, exactly. No homo is something I don't use in my everyday verbiage. That's not how I don't say that. Even if I did, the term saying no homo is just to imply that, hey, I did something that could be considered maybe homosexual or gay, and I don't want you to think that I am. Not because it's negative, but just because I don't want you to get confused. It's like a very common thing to say. Like if a straight dude smacks another straight dude on the butt, says, "Hey man," boom, smacks him in the ass and say, "Hey, nice game, no homo." Like that's a lot of dudes I play football with or did sports with said and acted shit like that. So if that were to be said, if sure as hell wouldn't have been said by me, because I would have had no instance where I would have done something that would have been considered homosexual or gay or whatever, for me to even imply that I should have to defend my sexuality, which I wouldn't anyway, because I'm comfortable enough on my own to not have to, protect it, especially in front of a bunch of high school kids. So I was and I explained this to the AD and I'm like, how is that even a thing? Well, and then the AD kind of got frustrated. He's like, well, this wasn't just some 2-minute conversation with the people involved. This was very thorough investigation. It's like he got offended because I was poking holes at like how ridiculous the fucking 2 claims were. I was like, wait a minute, dude, this doesn't even make any sense. You won't tell me what's going on. I'm accused of these 2 things. I tell you, I deny them. I explain why I deny them, and I give you, my case or my side of things, and you're like, nope, doesn't matter because we did our investigation. We washed our hands. That's not even the worst part of it. The next part of it, he's like, well, the second allegation against you was that there was some racist posts on your social media. And at this point, I'm probably like, I'm a month, maybe a little over a month off of being off social media because I gave it up for New Year's. I tried to give it up, the exception of Snapchat, because that's just how some people get a hold of me. And then I kind of hop back on the gram a little bit because I'm trying to, obviously promote this podcast. But I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on that bullshit. But I was like, I'm like, what post? She's like, nothing rings a bell. And I'm like, no. Just like the first 2 things you said to me make absolutely no sense. So why would this one? And he's like, just to refresh your memory, there was a post that was brought to our attention on your Snapchat where you had taken a picture of a group of students and you had circled the white student present and hashtagged it token white girl. And again, then the light bulb hit and I knew exactly what he was talking about. So for those of you who don't know, I coach at this school it's a high minority population. It's like a level 1 school. It's very, very diverse in the sense of a lot of low income families, a lot of minority families. So I was like a minority as a coach. Like I'm like, most of the teachers are white, but most of the students are not. And it's kind of one of those things. And so I went to this high school, so I know what it's like there, everything else. And, I have a connection with these kids and my jumpers. Okay. So my jumpers, I was jumps coach and sprints coach. Most of my jumpers, almost all of them were not white with the exception of like 1 or 2. One of them happened to be a girl who was like blonde hair, blue eye, white girl, just a white girl. That's just what she was. So it's at the conference meet. I take a Snapchat, boom, of the group. It's a couple of Asian kids, a couple of black kids, and then, there's this white girl, bam, right there. Show them the photo, and she goes, oh, token white girl, ha, 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 ha. And we all laugh, get a chuckle out of it, because race with us, like, it's not a thing, because we're a team. The only color that matters was what's on the shirt, right? And that was instilled in them, because a lot of them kind of were hung up on race when I first got to know them, and as I've, grown relationships with these kids, and kind of like, hey, man, that shit we don't need to be focused on that. You need to, So I know what's going on with these kids. I know the relationship with these kids. These ADs and administrators don't know fucking shit because they're not there with these kids. I'm spending 20, 30 hours a week with these guys, getting paid pennies because I want to fucking be here and care about them. So anyway, so that's what happened. I'm like, haha, that's funny. I hashtag it, post it. Sure enough, that gets brought up. And I was like, the only person I showed that would have, the only person that would have known that would have seen that, I had one of the other coaches on there, and he brought it up to me. He's like, hey man, be careful. You might not, someone might see that and think something of it. I'm like, well, what's there to think about? That's I'm quoting her. That's what she said. So how can that be anything? And how can I be racist towards another white person by saying token white girl when that's what she said, which is in fact, that's what she is. Token from South Park is the token black guy. Yep, you always got to have one. In this case, with our group, it was funny because her being a white person, which white people are supposed to be like the majority, it was flipped, and that's why it was funny, and that's why she said it. I explained that to them, and they go, well, it's not about what she perceived, it's about all about perception. And if one person felt uncomfortable with anything that you said, whether you meant it or not, that's our job as administration to address that. And in this case, we determined that the best case was removing you from the situation entirely. And I was like, wow. So after everything I just fucking told you, I've invested the last 4 or 5 years of my life coaching the staff. I turned this around. I've gotten emails from parents, students, you name it, saying how their kids, since they've been under my program, have now their attitudes have changed. They've become better students. They've done this. They've done all these right things. Not everyone, but the vast majority of the people that have come under my tutelage have come out better people, not only better track athletes, but better students, better people. And they've steered off a path that they otherwise would have been down had they not had me there. And it just really bummed me out because like I felt like I was getting pushed out. Like first of all, my integrity and everything about me was, my character was being attacked. And they weren't backing up at all. They were hiding behind, hey, we did our report, we did our due diligence. And then when I asked for clarification, they're like, well, we can't tell you because they're minors and because this and that. We can't do this and that. I'm like, wait a minute. So this is how it works. I can be accused of something. You can do an investigation, a thorough one, without even involving me in it. You don't allow me to defend myself in any way, shape, or form other than the day that you had already decided, because you started out the conversation by saying you weren't going to renew. So you had already decided my fate before I even had a chance to defend myself in any way, shape, or form. All for what? For this political correctness bullshit? It'd be one thing if I would have said those things and I would have been like, hey, yeah, you know what? I do remember saying that. I did say that. I own it. Someone got upset. And then at that point, I would have been like, hey, give me the opportunity to, correct this, or if someone took something out of context, or if they, whatever, if someone was hurt by my words, give me a chance. I feel like I have a good enough relationship with this team that I should be able to sit down and say, hey, man, or girl or whoever, or what, if I said this, I'm sorry, this is not what I meant, XYZ. Nope. They don't want to hear none of it. They're like, well, we understand. Every time I'd make my point, they'd go, well, we understand. And then they'd move on to the next point. After I defended myself, they're like, we understand. We understand. I'm like, yeah. And at one point I was like, but you keep saying that. You said about 5 times now, but you've done nothing. The decision's already been made. You accuse me of all this stuff. I deny it. And now where we're at, you're just like, well, that's it. And he's like, well, I understand it seems like that. And I'm like, well, that's what it is. Is it not?
I think they just wanted you to like leave the room.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, yo, like it's done. Just get out. Like it just sounds like what it was.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, you're not want to hear it. I already get it. Like you just have to get out before I call security.
Right. Yeah. And that's pretty much what it was. And it's so crazy because like I said, I went to that high school. I coached there. I was an athlete there. I'm on the fucking wall of fame there. I got a couple school records there. It's like, it's crazy. And I got shoved out so this is what I think happened. Either the coaches were involved, because the coaches were nice dudes, didn't know shit about track and field. Like the 2 head coaches didn't really know shit about it. I mean, they did, but they didn't. In comparison to like someone who was a college athlete, college competitive runner, All-American, and myself, again, not trying to boast or anything, but like I've been fucking the next thing before pro. I was there, at the highest level. So it's like I've been there. I understand what's going on. I love track. I just love helping people. And that's kind of the whole idea. Like, so we talked about this, the whole Gearman project, and this whole idea of this, like this brand that we're building right here is exactly that. I want to fucking help people. And so, but like with the whole school thing, it's like, okay, like you're right. They basically shoved me out. So like I said, what I think happened is that either the coaches, again, who, I thought were, had my back or on my side or whatever, either said something or did something and tried to we're like, hey, we just kind of want him out. Because I basically took over the team after my first year. Everyone just started listening to me, and basically I was like running the show, even though I wasn't the head coach. Like I was like running the show. I was doing all the work. I was organizing all the practice.
Take you out.
Yeah,
I could see that too, because like I would say you're a very passionate person when it comes to stuff that you really, really like.
Oh yeah.
And when it comes to, I mean, not flexing on people, but if you know more than them, you're going to know more than them. Like there's no way around it. Like if you know more than someone, you're going to beat them and you're going to take their job. And they're just like, I bet they feel like either threatened or they're just like, this dude's a fucking dick, which you can't be a friend when you're a coach. That's the thing. You cannot do that. Like,
right.
Yeah. Give them a banana when they lose. Like, what? No, like motherfucker, go run laps.
Right. And the thing is that, they were very much not of the, like firm hand. Like my coach does a bit more firm, where it's like, I cater to their feelings, but also when I feel like when they need it, I all my coaches that I respected that made me who I am were like very hardcore with me. But I also, to your point, I think, maybe that could have been a thing where it's like, people are paid stipends, and a lot of these coaches or these teachers are just coaches so they can make extra money because they're not really making shit. And it's an extra, $5-6 grand for a few months of work, so like, why not do it? But like I've worked with these same guys for like 4 or 5 years. And then one of the other coaches, he was my coach in high school. So I've known him for over 15 years. So he's known me, he's literally watched me grow up. He's like, you've grown up so much since you were in middle school and blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, and he's not a head coach, he's just one of the other assistant coaches, but still like these two head coaches are like new guys that like I met coming in that I didn't know. And it's like, it's either that or there really was some kids that like, because I pushed my kids, I expected everything, whether you're a freshman.
Yeah, they were just trying to get you down.
They're, they're just trying to get me out because, they, like I demanded a certain level of expectation for my kids. And I demanded not only on the track, working hard and being respectful, but also in the classroom. And if the teacher emailed me or if a parent did or whatever, they would sit out and they would do this, or I'd make them run more or whatever the fuck the punishment was. And some kids, responded well to that. A lot of them did. A lot of them didn't. A lot of them would, I got emails from parents, why are you making my kid run? Why did this happen? Well, because your kid was saying fuck and acting like a jackass and disrupting my practice. So I made me this and that, gave him a choice to go home or do this. He decided to do that. So, it could have been one of those,
angry.
Yeah.
Gonna get stronger and faster and a little bit more respectful. It's called building character.
I'm doing obviously what you didn't teach him to do, which is be disciplined and have fucking some respect. Obviously you don't say that to a parent, but it's like, a lot of these kids, they don't fucking have it because a lot of them are single parents that,
parents think they should be friends with their kids. No, that's not the case.
No,
like maybe once they grow older and then they have a kid and see what it's like, but no, they're not your fucking friend.
Right. And and so it could have been something like that, and then they decided, hey, I don't want this guy to be my coach anymore, so we're gonna pitch a bitch. And what's the easiest way in this hypersensitive society that we live in now is to accuse someone to be a racist or a hater of the LGBTQT XYZ people. And guess what happens? You're labeled a homophobic, misogynist, racist, fucking, and then you get shut down.
One little thing. That's it.
And the thing is that it wasn't true. Like I said, I have said some dumb shit in my life. I have done some dumb shit in my life.
I've said so much dumb shit in my life that if I could go back, yes, I wish I would take that back. But you know what? You can't take shit when it's already like out there.
Right. And so I know that, and I'm willing to accept the responsibility as a man. Like, okay, if I did say something or if I would have done this and that, like allow me the opportunity to make it right. Boom, 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 anything. Like I said, they weren't having it. They weren't let me have it. And it was so frustrating because like I didn't let go of it. And I pretty much all but let it go now because at this point I'm just like, it is what it is. But it was like, it hurt me more so because like the kids, there might have been like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a handful of kids that maybe didn't really like me that might have been behind this, or might have just been one. Because what they kept telling me, they said this 2 or 3 times. Well, even if one kid is upset, and like one kid out of 150 kids, even if one kid, they're like, even if one kid is upset or uncomfortable by a staff member, it is our duty to do X, Y, Z, and this is the road we chose to take. I'm like, okay, so you're potentially hurting 149 other kids because one kid got their feelings hurt and shit their pants, and now they have a problem. So that's why I got really upset, because it's like, it wasn't about my own personal thing or my own personal ego or my own thing. It was like, okay, I've developed relationships with a lot of these kids, and a lot of these kids don't have a strong presence in their life, especially a strong male presence, where it's like they don't have like a big brother or a dad. And a lot of these kids that have literally come to me and opened up their whole fucking life story to me about how like their dad left their mom and they got this and that, or their mom's boyfriend beats them up, or all kinds of fucking crazy shit. And they look to me because I give them structure. I actually give a shit. I am on there saying, get your ass in line. And they're like, damn, he does care. He's yelling at me because he cares. And they take that as like, oh my God, he really cares. You're throwing all of that away because of your political correct bullshit, and because someone blew the whistle on me and you didn't want to take the time to go through the diligence. It was a lot easier for you just to go, okay, shoo, go away, hoping I would just fade away in the distance, because it is just a high school coaching gig and it isn't this serious thing. It's not like I'm making real money. Little do they know, it's not about the fucking money. It's about the impact. I'm doing my part to try to make this world a better place by trying to instill these things into these young people and maybe get them away from drugs and get them away from crime and get them away from, addictive personalities and self-destructive things. Like, it's not about fucking me, but you couldn't make that. You had to walk this political correct bullshit line, and you threw away an opportunity to help other students so you could maybe save the feelings of one. What the fuck?
Yeah. Because you look at it like this, though, like if these kids are literally like pouring their heart out to you, and like you get fired, they're going to be like, well, coach doesn't care about me. My parents don't give a fuck about me. So I'm just going to go and talk to Johnny, who's on the corner. And he's going to sell me fucking crack.
Right.
And would you rather have someone hate you but respect you, or would you rather, what happened? Accusing allegations and you have to say goodbye to your job, which is like, I would still say that's a pretty big deal, just because of the simple fact that this is something you want to do for your life, and just for some little dipshit, and it would be like 0.75% of the whole team just goes against you, and yet that's just a career ender right there. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, yo, just bitch about the coach, but he's trying to help you. That's it. He's just trying to help you, and yet people don't get that. Like, yeah, it might be a little harder than most, like, pick up what you're throwing down type stuff, but if you just go with it, I mean, it's going to come easier. If you do what's being told, it's going to be like, yo, it's not going to yell at me as much, and you're going to see results too along the way. So when people just do that, they're like, it's just all political game, and it's not a fun one.
Right. And that's the thing too, is that, it's like it was really frustrating, because like I don't even know if it was a kid or if that was even true or not. Like, for all I know, it could have been the administration just having it could have been the coaches. The thing is, I don't know.
It could have just been someone saying, I don't like this fool, let's just get him out.
Right. And the thing that he kept saying to me too is like, oh, and just in case you're wondering, we're not going to try to we won't try to prevent you from getting a job elsewhere, because I'm sure ADs talk and this and that. So if someone calls, like, I'll put in a good review for you, and I won't talk badly of you. I'm like, oh, well, I'm sure you wouldn't do that, considering it's illegal to talk shit when people call for interview stuff. It's literally all you can say is, was I employed here? You can ask what my salary was, and then if you'd rehire me or not. That's technically all you can fucking ask. So, like, I would sure hope that you wouldn't even, like, the fact that he had to tell me, like, reassure me that he wasn't going to talk shit and try to, like, like, it's like, it almost made me seem like you said, like, they just kind of wanted me out, and they're like, that's why they're like, oh, don't worry, we'll give you a great review. It's like, okay, well, if you think so highly of me, and that you're willing to give me this great recommendation if someone calls, then why the fuck are you doing this in the first place? It has to be because it's a lot easier to just cut bait with me than it is to deal with the parent that goes to that school. So that, so that's part of me thinks that maybe it was, okay, because there's a couple kids that I know I didn't really get along with, that I tried to my very end to try to get them to, like, act up, and I was really hard on them, that, but like, I'm not saying I think they would have done that, but it's just like, I mean, the thing is there was so much ambiguity about the whole thing about how it was given to me. When I pressed them for more answers, I never got them, and it was just like one of those things where it was so fucking weird. So yeah, but basically that basically can't, and then I was also coaching football there as well too, and told me the same thing. I'm like, well, this apply for football too. Like, a couple weeks later, I emailed them and I was like, hey, can I get a report of this, of your report, copy of this report from my records? And they're like, well, we don't send out reports of when we choose to not renew contracts, only for dismissals. So that's like the loophole where they didn't have to provide any documentation for me, is because they technically didn't fire me, they just chose to not renew my contract. So that's the loophole, where if they would have fired me or dismissed me, I would have had access to the report.
Cowards
bullshit.
Yeah, coward's way out.
And it just sucks, because I had a couple kids ask me, and this is I'm gonna wrap up the story here in a minute. This is the last little part of it. There was a few kids that asked me, hey, are you coaching? Just making sure that I'm, still going to be there this fall or this spring. And well, now the season is not even a thing because of the COVID thing. So it all kind of like works out like that. But they were reaching out to me like, hey, are you coaching? And I was like, no. And I told this kid who was a freshman, Christian Belt, really good long jumper, fast sprinter. I coached him in football, convinced him to come out and do track. The kid's a stud. He, Christian, if you're listening to this, homie, stay doing your thing, bro. You keep working your ass off. Super funny, really smart, kind of a quirky, nerdy, black kid, kind of quote unquote X, white, so they call him, an Oreo and da-da-da-da-da, but super cool kid, works hard, super funny, great kid. Texted him and was like, hey, you know what? This is what happened. Told him the whole truth. Told him the whole story. I just told you, nutshelled it. And he's like, wow, what the fuck? He messaged me back and he's like, that's bullshit. He's like, I'm so sorry to hear that, coach. He's like, he's like, I've never heard you say anything like that. He's like, and you definitely hurt. He's like, you definitely helped far more than you hurt. That's super unfortunate. I'm sorry that happened. And then all of a sudden, About 2 hours later, text. I probably got 20 different texts from different student athletes saying, Coach, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just heard what happened. I can't just pretend that I just didn't hear that. But like, I like literally have like novels, these are still minors. So I'm not going to I guess I just named it one minor right here. But either way, like, this outreach of love, like I said, all together probably got 40, 50 texts, from students. I mean, that's a third of the team right there that reached out and said, hey, I'm sorry, that this happened, and then a couple weeks later, I go into Michael's and one of my athletes is working in there and she sees me at checkout and she literally starts crying and goes, oh my gosh, and came up and hugged me. It's a long story with this girl is that she was super awkward, super shy. She got most improved last year. She came over to triple jump for me. She's this little shy Asian girl who was like, she couldn't look you in the eye. She was super, super shy. By the end of the year of her working with me over at Jump, she was cracking jokes, poking fun at people, kind of just being fun, completely came out of her shell, got most improved, like got really close with the team where she was kind of like this like outsider for like her first year. Made the conference roster, all kinds of cool stuff. Literally came up and she started crying. She's like, I'm so sorry that that this happened and I really wish you would be here. And it like literally like I felt like in the store I was about to fucking cry. I was just like, damn, I was like, that's powerful shit. To some people
impacted forever.
Yeah. And it's like, it's, and again, it's like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn and make it sound like I'm so fucking awesome. Cause I'm sure there's a lot of other people that would say completely otherwise, but for those people, the people that I am helping, the people that do have that type of feeling about it is like, those are the people I'm doing this for anyway. The people that I'm trying to help, better themselves, whether it be socially, emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever it is. That's the whole purpose of what I do. Like I've decided a long time ago, I want to help people and kind of like, excuse me. Kind of like
Rona.
Kind of but kind of like Batman, sometimes I do it in a way that most people don't see the greater good of it, but I do things that are not easy for the greater good, like being hard on people and expecting that more out of people and, maybe being hard on them and maybe kind of getting on their ass a little bit and expecting something.
Yeah.
And obviously it worked because like I said, 40, 50 text messages from a bunch of high school kids, to a coach, that they've had for a year or two. Some of them I've had for 3 years now and they were seniors and now I'm not going to be there. Well, obviously the whole season got canceled again because of Corona, but so in my own kind of selfish way, I'm kind of like, haha, because now the season didn't happen and I'm not fucking there. And like I said, another thing too is, the coaches didn't say nothing to me about it when I asked them like, hey, what was going on? Cause I reached out, I was like, hey, what would the AD want to talk to me about? He's like, oh, I have no idea what it would be about. Little did he know he already had someone hired, which is kind of bullshit.
So they just wanted you out, it seems like.
Yeah, so it's just like, it just bums me out though, because like I said, it's not about me and it's not about them either. And it's like almost like they made it about them or like their agenda or their reputation. They're more worried about like looking good and be like, oh, yep. So, because someone blew the whistle, it must be true. It's guilty until proven innocent. It just sucks because 40, 50 texts from a bunch of high school kids saying, you never did any of that. I heard what happened. You never said this. You were always helpful. You're the only one that actually pushed this. You're the only one. I could sit and read all these, but these are all things that, are personal messages to me, but I'm obviously paraphrasing and nutshelling it. But it's like,
that just like kind of seems like this is where we're going to the future too, though. It's like you have to appease everybody.
And
like,
fuck that.
I don't know how many people can you hold together in your close circle, and yet like you have to coach, and then on top of that you have to it's just a whole bunch of different groups of people too. Right. Like again, we're both like white guys, so eventually like are we gonna say something that's gonna come back and bite us? Probably. I mean, that goes with everyone though. That just goes without saying. But
especially if you're a white dude, and you don't beat to that certain drum, then like I said earlier, I'm sure I'll catch flack for someone listening to this because I said Trump's not that bad. I didn't say he's my favorite, but the fact that I showed support, people will be like, aha, or even this story, they might be like, oh bullshit, that guy for sure said that, but it's like, why would I? I know I've said dumb shit. If I said shit that could be considered racist or homophobic before, for sure. Was that ever my intent? No, but a lot of times I say shit because it's funny, and I say shit for shock value because people are so
shock
fucking
value,
sensitive.
Trying to be funny.
Yeah,
like, maybe. I mean, dude,
like if I'm like
stupid shit.
Like if I'm like you're gay, I'm not saying like you're gay as in like, oh, gay means like you're whatever. I mean gay like just because it's funny to say, because people are like, especially straight dudes, they feel a certain way about it, and it's like, but if a gay person if I was like you're gay to a gay person, they'd be like, yeah, duh, right? Like I have gay friends that have said that, you know, so it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you got to not take everything as a fucking personal attack, but we're in this whole thing where everyone's got to be a victim. And I know I just went on like a 20-minute thing telling that story about how I was like the victim of this bullshit, but it was just like, I'm more or less just like I said, my biggest concern isn't with myself. It's the fucking kids. The kids got screwed out of the relationship that we had to better their lives because someone was worried about some political correctness and then didn't even want to take the time to get to the truth. They just went with what was easy. Like, okay, we can just write this off. These kids go here. We got to deal with them every day. Parents will be calling us every day. If we don't do nothing, let's just get rid of them. And I think that's really what happened. And it just sucks.
You got to put it into perspective that like we're going to be rounding about 8 billion people on planet Earth. And when has someone ever been liked more than like 5 people just in general?
Yeah.
I mean, well, just like as like a whole, like just being a friend or just even being like a mentor. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people who, where am I even going with this? I know a lot of people who don't like me, yet I know a lot of people that respect me, and I know a lot of people that would hang around. But like, I'm only one person, so it's just like I'm not going to be liked by everyone. I'm mortally hated by a few people, and you know the feeling's mutual. Like, I'm not bad, I'm not good. I just, you know, I just have to do what I think is morally right.
Right. Yeah, you know, and that's the thing too, is that, you know, I do everything that I do, you know, from a standpoint, standpoint of like what I believe is right or wrong, and just like anyone else. And, you know, kind of like Ned Stark, it's like, you know, sometimes the right thing to do is not the easiest thing, and typically that's the case in most things. You know, but I just think like in regards to school and kind of how they handle that situation, I don't think that was the right move, because, you know, they severed a relationship with the you know, that I have with a lot of students. And I just, you know, I would be lying if I said I didn't get my own fulfillment out of it, but because I did. But like at the end of the day, it was some fucking ludicrous bullshit. It was just some fucking political nonsense. And that's why I don't fuck with the right and left back and forth bullshit, where it's just like, you know, the race baiting, or the fucking, oh, I'm gonna shut you down because you said a word I don't like, so I'm just gonna attack you. That shut the fuck up and grow some balls, you know, get some tough skin. Like, even just saying grow some balls, someone's gonna be like, well, what do you mean by that? You trying to be a fucking xenophobe? It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you don't have to overthink it. You just
sometimes. No, I was gonna say, sometimes it's just a fucking figure of speech. Sometimes it's just saying. Sometimes it's just talking shit. Sometimes just lighten the fuck up.
Like, for real. Or just, I mean, just take a joke. That's really about it. How many people get away with it yet? If someone who wasn't famous said it, like, people just have, like a brain aneurysm. It looks like they're shutting down. Like, I can't believe you just said that. Well, yeah, I was quoting a movie. Oh, you said that though.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. It's like sometimes, like, I've gotten an argument with someone, you know, about something, and they'll send me an article, and it'll be a headline, and it'll say something that's completely out of context. I'll read the whole thing or watch the whole video, and I'm like, okay. And more times than one, the video itself has actually, or the article they sent me, if they actually would have read it, the article proved what I was saying and proved them wrong. Have you ever had someone do that to you, where they're like, hey, look at this article, and they send it to you with like, proof, motherfucker, and it's got a headline saying, for example, Trump said XYZ, and I'll read it, and I'll be like, okay, did you read the whole thing? Well, no. Okay, well, right there, like 2 cents after what that headline was, read the rest of that paragraph. Oh yeah. Whoops. You know, more, because people don't want to fuck. It's so much easier to just get mad and fucking react than it is to sit, look back, and look at shit objectively and be like, okay, what's going on? But we don't want to do that. Like, if you don't say the right thing, and the thing with academia and schools and shit, they're owned by the left. Like, so many more teachers are left leaning than anything else. Like, media and fucking our education system owned by the left. And so it's like, that's what's being pressed. And it's like, so these kids that are upcoming, and the information they get, they're going through school, they're getting it all the time for, you know, 12, 13, 14 years straight, just bam, 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 getting crammed on their fucking throats. Of course, that's what they're going to think. And it's just really bummed out, because it's really just bums me up, because they're not being objective. Does the right do everything right? No. Does the left? Absolutely not. The truth is always in the middle, but like, we've gone to the point where now, where it's like, you have to be, if you even lean one way or the other, you got to be put in a box. Which I'm not Democratic. I'm not a liberal or a Republican, or a Democratic or a Democrat or Republican. You know, I wouldn't consider myself either one of those things. But yeah, that's the thing. And like, that is so crazy, because everything can go back to politics now. We become so political in this country. It's fucking sickening.
well, no one wants to stand up, which I think we've seen it time and time again, that someone who stood up for civil rights or something that wanted to have a big change, they just kind of went away, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So I don't think
Clintons.
I mean, I don't think there's going to be a drastic change towards the future when it comes to stuff like that, just because I I think it's over. Like if they win, they win. Like if they shut down the internet and they're like, oh yeah, you and you and you and you, like they could just come snatch us, just like that lawyer in China. Like
Talking about that
stick us in
dude.
who knows where.
You're
Like
talking about
we're
the dude
not
from
impossible. We're not
Harvard.
invincible and we're not impossible. And you know, like it kind of sucks that they kind of have your straw man just as always prisoner and always a debt serving good citizen.
Right.
But because like I don't know, you look at me and you look at my quote unquote straw man. I'm totally a different person because like I've gone to my run-in with Johnny Law, and as you as my witness, like whatever should have went down shouldn't have went down.
Right.
Yet I just got screwed over. But that's another story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know how me on paper versus me in real life it's so different because it's not how it's went down, but that's just how the report was because it's a authoritative figure,
Mm-hmm.
which I've been in that authoritarian position, and I'm just like, yeah, this is bullshit. Like, I don't know. I do not like the Johnny Law as people because I used to be in a law enforcement degree, and then I got out of there because I just saw all the bullshit, and I was like, dude, I'm not down for that military shit again.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of hard to say because like there's so much I do, but there's so much I just don't want to say about all the stuff that just happened to with us the past few years, like yourself included.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, another story for another day, maybe another podcast when we get more into it.
Yeah. You know, this isn't going to be the
last one for sure.
The last blockade experience on here. But yeah, bro, it's been you know, with everything that's going on in the media and everything, it's you know, something else. Oh, this is kind of what I want to bring up is, you know, what's going on in the media is that, you know, they're showing all this COVID shit and everything else. No other time in human history could we have CNN literally release UFO footage on, you know, declassified things from like 2014 of all these like naval things. Like the government has admitted that there's UFOs. Like we don't know what the fuck these are. They're not saying they're alien, but they're like, we don't know what the fuck they are. And there are no database whatsoever in any known military. So it's either shit that's someone's keeping from us, or it's some shit that's not from here, and nobody's fucking talking about it. And I've been a believer in aliens since I can fucking, you know, and a lot of people are like, oh, does that mean you don't believe in God then? You're you know, because like people like, oh, they assume like, oh, you're Christian, so that you must not. And it's like, okay, first of all, whoa. What does aliens have to do with, like, if God created all things, God could have created aliens too, just because it's, you know, there's fucking, it says in the Bible that there's dragons, for crying out loud. Like there's literally in the book of Revelations when it talks about the apocalypse, it's talking about like dragons and shit and like fire breathing dragons. So let's not get too crazy on that. But anyway, side tangent alone, can you fucking believe, did you see that naval pilot that fucking...
I just heard about it through the grapevine, but I've not actually seen the footage.
Check it out, bro.
Because like, oh man, I mean, it's not uncommon to think of like it that way because like, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, because we're on planet Earth, we went through like 6 or 7 extinctions, give or take, from like dinosaurs to
maybe more,
maybe even more. Who knows? But what if there's a planet out there that never had an extinction like that, and like they didn't have to start from ground zero? And like, what if they just had it perfect and they've just been like scoping space through like the past 4,000 years? AKA, like, what if the Egypts just came here? Right. Or what if they just like, let's just plop down like 20 of these pig human people and see what happens, and boom, like, right. we don't know. Like, Like, because
We
they
really
like
don't.
because you look at the pyramids and you're like, how the fuck did they make that? Like, who knows?
I read a thing that said that if like, 'cause some of those blocks are so big, they're like 500 tons or something crazy like that, that it would take, if you moved one block a day, it would take like some like 300 or some odd years to make, or something like that. Like if you
Yeah.
moved one stone a day from, say, wherever, I can't remember, I'm fucking up the whole quote, but it's something like if you put one stone a day, it would take over like so many hundreds of years to build the pyramids if you moved one stone placed
Yeah.
one stone a day.
Because like there was back in like 2016, I was reading an article that like a telescope on Earth here, like one of those science places, actually found a pyramid on Mars.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I put that in perspective, and then also there's one in the Bermuda Triangle, like down in the depths.
Dude, I knew there's some crazy shit. Like that's where they think Atlantis is.
Yeah, which I mean, it could have been a real city, but it could have just been destroyed like Pompeii. I mean, we'll never know. I mean,
Pompeii got blown to fuck.
yeah, it got blown the fuck up. But
That's the one where all the people are like the ash hit them and they're like fucking
Yep.
preserved and shit.
Yeah, preserved and.
Ooh, can you imagine just sitting there?
No.
You're just fucking sitting back,
That's
drinking
like
your
looking at a
coffee
nuke
and
coming down. Yeah,
it's literally time, like, captured. Like it's just like time is just fucking captured, and you just like it's like you have history. Like a moment in time is just fucking like the body.
Your
is
last moment is now preserved forever.
That's crazy. And like
Yeah,
you died like this. This is what you look like when you died. You were fucking in this like burning ash, and you were just like fucked.
just imagine if someone was taking a shit.
Oh, well, hey man, at least you're releasing the tension on your way out. I mean, you're gonna shit anyway, so I mean, if anything, that's super convenient, right? Because you're you're on the shitter, and when you die, you shit. So it's like I better shit my pants, and you're just fucking, you're already prepared, head of the game.
Just like
That's awesome.
Mid turd, just
that would be such a fucking bummer. That would just be I would be upset. I would be like,
I would too. I'd be like, man, oh man, I fucked up. I didn't think. Oh man. But you never know. Hey, maybe it can happen still.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think there's something out there. I think it's too fucking arrogant of us to think like, oh, we're the only thing. They say that there's like over like 25,000 planets just in like the universe that we've been able to map out that are just like planet Earth that could sustain life. Like 25,000 different possibilities. Chances are the universe they're estimating is like 13.4 billion years old. So you think over as humans, science thinks that we as Homo sapiens, like this version of us, like where we could talk and think and speak how we do now, is only about 300,000 years old. Think about something that might have been around for a couple million years in a different part of the universe, an older part of the universe. Like, come on now. Like, I'm not saying they're like coming down like E.T. and we're best friends, or it's like Independence Day where they're here to but they're definitely checking us out. Like,
yeah, they're
definitely checking us out
because I get it, the fact that that would be the coolest thing ever to like talk to an alien, but you have so many factors, like not even just a language barrier, but like also germ barriers too, like aka the virus and stuff like that. Like, because there's that, like people who do they want to meet someone? Because like let's just say an alien came down and he went to the nearest Walmart, he would never come back to Earth ever again. He'd be like, fuck that place.
Oh shit, people at
like,
Walmart.com.
I saw some weird ass shit and don't go there. But like versus like if they met like a president or a politician or like a public figure
or like a rock star or like LeBron James or Tom Brady or something, like
their experiences would change. They'd just be like, well, you have this and then you have that, and this is like another, I wouldn't say it's kind of a conspiracy theory, but not really. But like I was reading up on the Georgia Guidestones. Have you ever heard of that?
It sounds familiar, but pretend I'm an idiot about it and give me a rundown.
So it's this place in Georgia. They have 10 commandments on each stone in like 20 some different languages. And rule one is like we have to maintain this population at 500 million. Well, we're at almost 8 billion people. So
Wait. Is this a real thing? Is it like a
Yeah, it is.
real
Just look it up. Georgia Guidestones.
George? Here, hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now. Wait, keep telling me more about it.
So, and it's pretty much like how to preserve humanity, kind of like the Thanos theory, almost like, you know, he has to kill half the planet and stuff like that. But it's even more than that. It's like 1/8.
What's it called? Georgia what?
Georgia Guidestones.
Guides.
And there it was bought anonymously back in the 70s or 80s, straight cash, and there's a single video camera watching it at all times.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, it says the Georgia, for those of you that are listening, the Georgia Guidestones are a granite monument erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia, in the United States. A set of 10 guidelines is inscribed on the structure in 8 modern languages, and shorter messages is inscribed at the top of the structure in 4 ancient language scripts.
Okay, so 12.
Yeah.
12 total. My bad on the 20.
No, it's okay. All right, so here are the inscriptions. 1, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity, okay, being healthy, unite humanity with a living new language, okay, rule, passion, faith, tradition, all things with tempered reason. So basically, like, don't go fucking crazy with all your shit. Don't get bought in, don't buy into all the bullshit. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Okay, yeah, be fair. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Okay, we kind of have something like that, but it's all corrupt. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Well, we're fucking that up. Balance personal rights with social duties. See, we don't do that well enough. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Yes. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
Yeah, like, so yeah, we're kind of fucking a lot of that up.
Yeah, we're not really following almost any of that shit, to be honest.
But yeah, it's a good prospect. But like number one is definitely the most quoted or common, because, you know, just look at how many people we have and how many people, like, whoever the hell, it could have been just some random dude who put it up there. But for all we know, like, just look at what they want that. Because, like, let's just say aliens were to come down and read that, and they'd be like, hold on, like, you have 8 billion people, yet you're trying to maintain 500 million? Come on now.
Right.
Or like, what if they just want the best and brightest and drop this virus?
That's crazy. Maybe like survival of the fittest straight up. They're like, all right, whoever can survive this, these are the people we're going to fucking harvest.
Right.
That's some crazy shit.
That to getting too out there, but you never know. I mean, that's just like the beauty of it, like of digesting all this information and stuff like that too. You could just come up with your own conclusion. And I mean, there's only a few things that are set in your life. It's you born, you live, and you die. That's really about it.
Right.
And hey, for those who are scared of death, hey, you only die once.
That's true. Honestly, you know, going back to your point earlier in the podcast, when you're talking about like reincarnation, I would love to believe that. I would love to believe that, like, we come back, and if we come back, I'm going to come back as my house cat, because she's a spoiled little fuck. She literally gets treats every day. Oh my God. She sleeps all day if she wants. She's got a clean litter box. I clean out her shit. She doesn't have to pay for anything.
Well, we're all house pets right now. Yeah, but we don't get to communicate. So, like, just think, like, if people are losing their minds inside, just think of your house pets. Just like on any given day, you're gone for 8 hours of the day to do a 9-to-5 job that you don't like.
I'm gonna shoot you over here to her real quick. Oh, where is she? Oh, there she is. Knocked. She's in Sleepville. Had to do it. For those of you who didn't see, go ahead and check this video out on YouTube at the Gearman Project. So you can see my cat Sequoia. If you've been checking out our other videos, she's made a few appearances in those as well. So, but yeah, dude. When it comes to aliens, I think we're out here, and I do think there's some other shit we could definitely dive into on some other podcasts. But I think we'll leave it here for today. This is typically the part of the podcast where we kind of plug social medias, plug any special messages, kind of like last words, and then we sign off. Kind of let people know where to find us on social media, where to check out this, where to stream this at, that whole thing. So if you want to plug your social media or plug anything, the floor is yours, and then we'll wrap this up.
Ooh, well, social media wise, if you want to find me, if you want to message me, geez, I really don't get on it too much. I just scroll it, and I'm not really much for getting out there, but it's been fun. Just I guess comment to the channel, and I guess I can pop in from there and read it from time to time. But other social media stuff, I just kind of like living a private life, so that's it's gonna So
you're gonna plug your gamer tag.
Sorry to bum you guys out. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, plug your gamer tag.
So my Xbox is More Grenades. It's just how it's spelled, all caps.
Is that More Grenades?
Yep, just how it's spelled, with a space in there too. I've had it since Halo 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going trying to collect my pension on Xbox Live.
Hey, there you go.
For 20 years. But then my PlayStation gamer tags Rally Back Henny.
Rally back, Kenny. Rally back. Let's go.
So I'll leave those two out there for you guys. And if to those out there who think differently than others, just remember the philosopher Plato actually got killed by his own people just because he thought a different way. And one more kind note: be kind to each other.
Real. Be kind. All right, everyone. That is going to wrap it up for episode 2 of the Gamer Project podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Go check us out on our hosting site, podbean.com. It's go ahead and create a free account. Go ahead and download this, like it, comment on it. It just helps us grow, helps more people check us out. If you guys like what you heard, this is going to be one of many more podcasts that we're going to do. Mr. Block aka Blake, aka Rallyback Henny, will be making a comeback again. We're going to have more guests on. If you guys kind of like this, kind of like the shit we talk about, have things that you want to request to do about Patreon page, you guys can go ahead. If you guys donate to that, minimum donation is $1. If you guys do that, you guys get a shout out on the podcast and you get to request topics and things to talk about. So if there's something that we're not talking about that you want us to kind of touch on or know our thoughts on, go in there, donate $1 to us, and we'll shut you out, and then we'll talk about whatever topic or question that you have. So if you guys want to do that, great. Or if you just want to donate to our cause anyway, I understand everyone's struggling right now. So like I said, don't feel pressure, but if you are in a position where you're able to, it's all appreciated at the very least. And that's a lot of information. Go give us a like, download the podcast. Hopefully we'll be up on Spotify here, hopefully in the next week or two. But again, go over to check out Podbean. Again, this whole thing will be uploaded on YouTube. For those of you that are listening, go check us out on YouTube at The Gamer Project. We've got reaction videos, training tips, podcast videos, the whole shebang. Follow me at Zachary Gearman for Snapchat, and at Zachary Gearman for my Instagram. Fuck Facebook, fuck Twitter. There's cesspools of bullshit, and I want no part of it. If you guys are on there, have fun. You won't catch me there. With that being said, the wife, hopefully she'll hop back on another one. She's been doing her Ironman training. That's all I got. I know it's a lot of information. If you guys like what you see, though, like I said, feel free to, give us all the loves, thumbs up, share with your friends, get the word out. That's all I got. So with that being said, Gear Squad, thank you for tuning in. The rest of y'all listeners, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Zach Gamer from the Gamer Project, and we out here. Peace.
Peace.